Andrew Wilson debates Papa God. Well, guys, okay, this is gonna be a shit show. Okay, good luck.
And 18-year-olds to sleep with 35-year-old men.
You're saying there's a world where 17-year-olds could like date like an adult?
Yeah, all feminism bad.
Why?
Feminists want to destroy the patriarchy.
If you think that trans people are mentally ill, then you have to come to terms with the concept that you believe in a magical apple curse.
Kids generally are coming from broken environments, and you want to put them in the hands of homosexual men.
Why is it a bad idea? There seems to be very high rates of success with gay adoption.
If the masses say that you should be able to sleep with girls who are 12 or 13 or 14, you actually have no moral argument that you can make against that now.
Women want access to more rights.
What if men don't prefer to give it to them?
How do you know your God's not speaking through me right now to try to communicate something to you?
If you had two twin brothers and they were in an incestuous relationship, tell me why that's immoral.
That's the most interesting part of this conversation, is like understanding who you are as a person.
Oh yeah, except unless it's blacks and women and everybody except white guys, right?
All right, what's going on?
Hey, what's up? Yeah, so I wanted to
What? Where are you going?
have a chat with you about a bunch of things that you said about me that are just fundamentally, completely, totally untrue.
Okay.
And I wanted you to give an accounting for them because I actually don't understand why you would say them.
Okay.
So first thing I wanted to get into was this. You said, quote, you sit there and advocate for 19-year-olds and 18-year-olds to sleep with 35-year-old men.
Okay.
Exact quote from your video.
Which video is that quote from?
Yeah, I'll pull it up here. Hang on.
Yeah, sure.
That was from the Andrew is an essay apologia, basically, reviewing the Oliver stuff.
Okay, yeah, we were
That's
having a
what I do.
conversation about, I guess, 35, 40-year-old guys dating young girls, right?
Didn't he offer his 17-year-old daughter to an older groiper? That's correct.
Distinction between an advocation for a thing or me saying that there's actually no argument that I've heard which is compelling for why the thing bad.
Okay, sure. I think that from what I remember from watching it, you were pretty like hardline. You think it's okay, and then actually the woman benefits from the relationship. So I would consider that like an advocation. Yeah.
Yeah, how's that me advocating that 18 or 19-year-olds should sleep with 35-year-old men?
Well, you said that they get like a lot of positive benefits out of it, right? Because this 35-year-old guy has a lot of resources.
Some can.
Sure. Why is it bad that you advocate for that?
Yeah, well, wait. Do you realize the distinction, though, between me saying, or you saying, Andrew saying that 18, 19-year-olds should sleep with 35-year-olds?
Well, you said that they get like a tremendous benefit out of it because the guy has a lot of like money and resources.
Yeah, but you need to untangle the two ideas.
So are you saying
That's not an ought claim. That's not me saying that
okay.
19-year-olds should sleep with 35-year-olds.
We're talking about dating, I think.
In particular cases, there can be benefits to a 19 or 18-year-old marrying somebody who's older. I wouldn't advocate any of them sleep with anybody before marriage, right?
Okay.
So that's one. And then the second thing is it's like I've never said that they should sleep with 35-year-olds. That's ridiculous.
Why is it
That's
ridiculous?
just never happened because that would be a should claim, a monolithic should claim.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
I think that I guess the way that I use advocation, it seems proper to me. You seem to be okay with it. That's a general advocation. It doesn't mean that you don't advocate for similar age relationships, but it kind of seems like we're splitting hairs unnecessarily.
Okay, no, we're not though. So like, you think that people should have access to the right of freedom of speech?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, should they scream you're gay?
No, but if you wanted to, I'd advocate
No.
for that. Yeah.
Right, no, right. So that's the distinction.
What?
That you believe that.
Well,
yes,
I would
okay, have the freedom of speech.
advocate for your ability to scream you're gay.
Yeah, I get it, but
Yeah.
you're not saying that I should do that. I should scream you're gay.
No, but I would say that I would still advocate for people to scream you're gay based on freedom of speech. If that's
No,
what
you're
you
not
wanna do.
advocating that they
I
scream
am.
you're gay.
I'm
You're
advocating that if
they
you
have
want
the freedom
to.
of speech to do it.
I'm advocating that if you want to scream you're gay, then you should scream you're gay because it's freedom of speech.
But do you understand the distinction here? Like, you're not saying people should go scream you're gay, right?
No, but I think if they want to, I would advocate for them to do that. Yeah.
Now you're in the same exact boat as me. I'm
Okay.
not saying you should go
Yeah.
and marry a 35-year-old. I'm just explaining that
Yeah.
if you want to marry a 35-year-old, I don't see any good compelling arguments why you shouldn't.
Okay. So that's like the big issue is the word advocation.
It's not a word advocation. It's a distinction in positions, which gives your audience the wrong impression. Makes it sound like I'm advocating that women at 18 should be finding themselves 35-year-old husbands, which is insane.
Okay.
And nothing I've ever said. And by the way, what would even your issue be with that? If an 18 or 19-year-old decided that they wanted to marry a 30 or 35-year-old?
Well, it's just that the 35-year-old might manipulate the 18-year-old, right? Like, sure, the marriage could be legal, but chances are an 18-year-old doesn't have enough life experience to know about everything that the 35-year-old might do to them, right? It's the lack in knowledge and life experience that is creepy. Yeah. It like I wouldn't say it's like the age doesn't matter as much as many other things in my opinion, but
Like, let's say a 19-year-old had two kids with a 35-year-old man that she loved. Would you advocate that they get divorced?
Are they twins?
No.
Damn. Was she like pregnant at 17? How'd she have two kids with a 35-year-old?
Who cares? It's irrelevant.
I mean, I would say it's pretty relevant if she had kids with him at 17. That's, I believe that would be kind of crossing into the territory of like some kind of.
She had her first one with him at 18, or second one with him at 19.
Gotcha. Okay. I was just making sure. I mean, when did the relationship start if they started having kids at 18?
18.
Interesting. Oh, it seems like a very fast relationship. I guess that would be immaturity. I'm not against.
Would you
I'm not
advocate
against
that
it.
they got a divorce, though?
No, I wouldn't advocate that they
No,
got a divorce.
of course not. So you don't really have any even moral compelling reason why this is wrong.
Well, like I said, I think it's immature, but if you want to do it, I don't think that everything has to be a strong argument. I can look at like a 35-year-old person dating an 18-year-old person, like, oh, that's immature. There's a big difference in life experience. But like, if you want to do it, you're an adult, I guess.
Yeah, so what's even the issue with me advocating? If I were advocating for, what would even be the issue?
Well, you came in here like seeming to have a very negative association with the word advocation, so I don't necessarily see like a huge issue. I'm pretty sure I also
didn't
said
have
this.
a negative.
I'm pretty sure I also said this.
No
in, like,
negative. There's no negative with the word advocation.
Okay.
I'm untangling the position of you can believe in the First Amendment, but not make a should claim that you should yell you're gay because
but you should
believe
be
in the
able
First
to.
Amendment.
Yeah, but I would advocate that you be able to do that.
Yeah,
in the
same
same way that you were advocating that people should be
Yeah,
able
now
to.
you're getting it. Yeah, they should be able to.
I've been saying the
not
same.
that they should, only that
Okay.
they should be able to, right?
Sure,
But that's a huge difference, right? Huge difference.
I guess, but it doesn't change that it's still advocation, right? I don't. Okay.
Oh, okay, do you understand how absurd that is? It's like,
No.
so if you you don't. Okay. So if
No,
you
I don't
advocate
understand.
for one thing, that means you advocate for another thing.
I don't really understand the correlation. Simply what I said is that if you're okay, you were advocating, right, for like an 18-year-old to be.
Dude, I hate people like Andrew Wilson because I bet that everyone is just like chilling in a fucking voice chat, and then Andrew Wilson joins the voice chat and he's like fucking debate mode, and he just ruins the vibes. He's just a vibe genocider. Okay, he's a vibe genocider. All right, everyone's just vibing out, and Andrew Wilson comes in here doing debate purgatory and just straight up being like a debate bro on every single fucking subject. Like, no, bro, we're just trying to relax. No one is trying to have a debate all the fucking time like you. Okay, like you need to chill the fuck out. Like, God, he's such a fucking like retard, dude. Like, he's such a retard. He's like a socially unaware retard. Like, he doesn't know how to read the room. He doesn't know that, you know, Papaka actually wants a calm conversation with him. Instead, he just always goes to, like, his mind is always in debate mode, but it doesn't need to be in debate mode all the time. Like, in my opinion, Andrew Wilson comes off as unhinged to me, like, from my point of view, because he's coming in so hot. He's coming in so hot and trying to do gotchas on Papa Gut when, like, what kind of, it's not even like a hostile situation yet. It's so stupid. These Pisco and Wilson types that treat debate like a macho contest are so cringe. Yeah, exactly.
Able to date or marry a 35-year-old in the same way that I
That's
advocate.
different than advocating that they should.
Okay. Did I say the word? So the issue isn't the word advocate. The issue is the word should. I said so should. So you're saying that I shouldn't have said should. I should have said should be able to.
Yeah. Otherwise, what you're doing, you're lying.
So we weren't. So I just want to be clear. We weren't having an issue with the word advocation. We're having an issue with the word should versus should be able to.
Yeah, we're having an issue with you attributing claims to me I don't make.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to make sure because I thought with the issue was advocation. That's the sense that you made me feel. But it sounds like I should.
But can't you imply shit?
Just said should be able to advocate. Should be able to.
Yeah, but do you know why you should do that? Why I think you should do that anyway?
Why is that?
Because then I think that when you make justifications to your audience, you're just going to be like, well, I actually agree with them.
What? What do you mean? Oh, okay. So you're saying that I'm lying to try to make people hate you in my audience?
Yeah.
Oh, is it possible that maybe I'm a little stupid?
Yeah.
Okay. So why
it's possible.
Why instantly go to like me being bad faith though?
Because of the malicious fact that you do it multiple times. You do it all the time. I have tons of examples. That's just the first one.
Gotcha.
So that's just the first example.
Okay.
And by the way, on that whole thing with Oliver, for sure that I was not advocating for SA. Like, you know that for sure.
Oh, this is like a while ago. Okay, I think if I'm trying to.
Well, but his definition of essay might be different, right? Oh yeah, you know that I don't advocate for essay. Okay, what's your definition of essay? Like fucking viciously raping people? You realize that's not where people draw the line. People draw the line differently, right?
Remember what you said because I think I reacted to your response. You want to give me a refresher on it because I think there was more context to it, right?
Yeah, he was making monolithic all claims.
Yeah, what's
Right,
essay?
The reason that you can't use an argument from outlier is because if you agree that X is possible, then I can always point to that as an outlier and gave him a jarring position for a potential.
I wonder if I can ask Andrew, like, how do you define a chair? Like, what is a chair? And he'll say anything that has 4 legs, and I'll be like,
outlier, which he agreed with. Then he dishonestly clipped that as though I wasn't mocking him for his stupidity, but rather advocating for that position. You did not make that clear for your audience at all.
So I think what the claim was that you said there might be some people who enjoy sexual assault, and you weren't saying that. Hold on, from what I remember, and you weren't saying that makes it. You were saying something along the lines that just because some people might enjoy it doesn't mean that sexual assault is good. That's from what I remember from the full context, right?
Yeah, it's actually not that. So if you say all people are stupid, you agree with me that that's a stupid claim to make, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Now, if there was a response to that, no, some people aren't stupid, right? Or some people aren't this, or some people aren't that. If you're trying to use an argument from outlier.
Yeah.
So all I'm pointing out there is if you're only going to use arguments from outliers when we're talking in generalities, then you have to be prepared for the fact that I can use whatever outlier that I wanted to, as long as it falls under the purview of logical possibility. Now, I can send you the clip of Oliver saying, of course, it's logically possible that this could occur.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
but I already
mocking him. That was me mocking him for that.
Right. Why don't you
how is that rape apologia?
Well, so just to be clear, I think I just conceded to that, right? Like the full context was that you said just because in some instances. So I guess I'd have to retract that one. But I remember watching your response to that, and I found it interesting that you said that there is sometimes like a pattern of you saying outrageous things and then getting negative attention and having to I guess square it up. Do you think that that's an issue that you constantly say outrageous things, sometimes possibly for attention, and people misconstrue you and you don't correct the behavior?
What do I say that's outrageous?
That's just what you had said in your response video.
What I said in a response video is that
you will routinely say things that are outrageous.
I will use examples. Yeah. Sometimes I use examples which are jarring. They're not outrageous. They're jarring, but they're not there's nothing outrageous about it.
Oh my God. Is there even like, do words have no definition? I feel as though like words like jarring and outrageous are very loosey-goosey like terms, right? Like when like terms like outrageous or shocking, disturbing, gross. It's there's no strict definition here. It's not like people say, well, this is where we strictly draw the line, right? Like who cares? Like this stuff is so fucking debate, bro. It's not even funny. It's so stupid, dude. But yeah.
About it. Using an example that's uncomfortable with maybe
this is a debate on whether Andrew sucks or not. I guess so.
But the thing is like, even if that was the case, let's just say it was,
Yeah.
you consider it to be outrageous that I use this as an example for outliers.
Sure.
Well, how's that defensible that somebody clips it up dishonestly and spreads it as though I'm in favor of SA?
Well, I don't think it would be. I will say that you also have like another take, and maybe it's out of context, but you were talking about, was it force doctrine? And that you said that women should be, to some extent, like apologetic or happy that men don't rape them. That doesn't really seem like,
Oh, Lord.
I don't understand. Wouldn't that also be some kind of rape?
The idea, no, the ideal, no, it's the opposite. The
Okay.
ideal from feminists. So feminists operate under a worldview,
Yeah.
and that worldview that they operate under is very secular and it's usually agnostic towards God. Do you agree with that?
Maybe, I guess so. I mean, why would it be agnostic towards God? Is it because like the woman has some kind of like
Because
equal role?
generally, if you follow an Abrahamic religion, they're patriarchal. So if feminists want to destroy the patriarchy, then necessarily they tend to stay away from Abrahamic religion.
So you're saying that like if a woman wants to have like be seen or have an equal role as a man, that would be or counterintuitive to religion.
And I support. Thank you.
Well, an equal role in what way? Depends on the way.
Just in this.
This is what I debated Andrew on, I think. I didn't do well during the debate, but only because I spurred out. But yeah, Andrew's position is absurd. His position was that there is still patriarchy in the United States, which honestly, at this point, I probably am inclined to agree to an extent, but he's treating it as if it's necessary. I think he said it's the patriarchy that's necessary because men are stronger than women, like physically stronger than women, right? And he has these stupid excuses for points that I would bring up, like, oh, well, what about people with guns? Like, what if women can wield guns? And he would say, well, at the end of the day, it's the men who allow women to have guns because men are stronger. Like, what? So stupid, dude. Yeah, I don't know.
Same being able to work and I guess lead a household or have an equal contribution to leading a household?
Well, no, that would depend on circumstance.
Okay.
So the thing is like, that's not what we mean by a patriarchal religion. It means that the body or the head of the religion is going to be male necessarily.
Okay.
Like women can't preach, they can't have positions of authority over men inside the church. It's necessarily patriarchal.
Okay.
So your goal is to dismantle patriarchy. Obviously, you're going to be steering clear of Abrahamic religions.
Okay, yeah. So like the feminism is counterintuitive to religion because it advocates that women have like the ability to be equal in all ways to men,
even including within the church, right?
Sure,
Or even if
I
they
guess
didn't
so.
think that you need.
Well, no, even outside the church.
He is making the claim that disbelief in patriarchy is disbelief in God. Why? Well, I mean, like at the time in the past, he didn't advocate for it like that. Like I don't remember him advocating for it like that when he was debating me. But I guess somehow he tied in God for whatever reason. That's kind of weird. I don't know why he chose this route.
Would still be trying to dismantle the patriarchal nature of the church.
I don't usually see a lot of feminism that's like specifically religious related. So maybe
Because God is a man, they think. I don't even know how to counter or address an argument about God. Like, there's so much to unpack there. Like, I literally don't care. Like,
maybe there's something I'm not seeing. But like generally speaking, it seems like you're saying that because feminism advocates for women to be equal to men, it's against religion because
don't even
religion
know
is
what to
supposed to put
say.
men. I mean, maybe you wouldn't say higher than women, but like in a different classification as women.
No, the point of feminism is to dismantle patriarchal systems.
Sure,
that's the point. So there's an oppressed class. If women,
yeah, but like you can argue that everything is patriarchal because we came from a society that was ultimately raised first by men, right? But supported by women, sure. But why am I even trying to treat this in good faith? It's so obvious Andrew is bad faith, and he knows that he's wrong and absurd. There are many examples of why he's stupid as fuck. But yeah, I think that's his opinion. We'll see.
the oppressed class, then who's the oppressor class?
We'll see.
Men.
Sure,
right?
I guess.
Yeah, it has to be. That's the deduction. Who are women? Women aren't being oppressed by women; they're being oppressed by men, right? So that's the patriarchy. If you have some kind of organizations that is necessarily patriarchal, in this case, the church is going to be necessarily patriarchal. They're going to want to dismantle the elements of that make it patriarchal.
So do you have like an issue with women wanting to work and get equal pay or work similar or the same jobs as men, or is it just because
women have always worked? That's
sure, but like an equal jobs as men.
Bizarre.
Like should men be like I'm just trying to flesh you out. Like, should women be able to be CEOs or anything like that? Or is there any restriction that you?
Yeah, don't care. It's completely irrelevant.
Oh, so then what would that be negative toward? I've never seen feminism that actively is negative towards religion. So I don't see how these two things can exist. No, I really haven't.
So you don't see feminist movements which are trying to get like female priests and female preachers. And
No.
yeah, like the Catholic Church, they've been fighting that for 100 years. The massive movement towards getting females who are in positions of power and authority.
Not in the church. It's really not something I've seen. I mean, I trust that it's happening from whatever sphere you're existing.
And it's been happening in the Orthodox Church, and it happens in all the Protestant churches. And
are you okay with feminism outside of the church then? Or is it just inside the church? Oh,
no,
so
all feminism bad.
Okay, gotcha. So why? If it's like setting the church part aside, what's the issue?
Because it's illogical.
Okay.
It's an illogical position.
It's illogical. I wonder, dude, it's so stupid. Like this stuff is so fucking retarded, dude. It's so retarded. Nobody ever says, well, I don't like feminism because it's illogical. Like, what a fucking debate brain way to put things and to refer things like, oh, it's illogical. What? Oh my God. Like, do you hear yourself right now?
In order to deconstruct patriarchy, you have to appeal to the patriarchy.
What do you mean?
It's necessarily circular.
Okay.
Well, how are women going to overthrow the patriarchy without appealing to the patriarchy?
Maybe we have a different understanding of feminism, because when I see feminism, it's not explicitly about overthrowing a patriarchy, and it's more just about women having the ability to work and get divorced and things of that nature, so that they can have an equal footing to a man because they have financial.
Then what's
power.
the difference between feminism and liberalism?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
They're just the same thing?
Sure. I mean, I don't really know what liberalism is.
Sure. No, they're distinct ideologies.
Okay.
The purpose of feminism is to deconstruct patriarchal systems.
Okay.
Because
like, I think Andrew is like, you can tell Andrew is trying to unnerve him, right? I missed when this stream was what Destiny did today's streams. Bro, you realize that's not survive. Like, what did even Destiny even do today? Like, Arc Raiders? Like, what is there even to cover? You realize I still cover Destiny when he's like actually doing shit, right? Like when he's debating people.
Okay, I'm breaking.
Oh. Like he's just reacting to shit.
This
there's nothing here.
Failed, right? They
slap or whatever. That's a lot.
Didn't understanding our own brains. That's
Not an indication. Like
An invitation to come.
Like you realize I cover Destiny plenty. When he does debates, but he's not doing debates right now. Like I don't fucking meat watch Destiny like that. It's fucking weird. I'm just kidding. Oh, okay.
they consider them an oppressor class.
Okay. And you don't consider it an oppressor
For
class?
a single definition you could pull up right now, feminism is going to include deconstructing patriarchy.
Okay. So you don't like feminism because it wants to deconstruct patriarchy, and you think that patriarchy is a good thing?
No, I don't even think it's possible. I think it's an irrational position.
Okay. Why?
You can't,
Why?
because you're appealing to the very same thing that you're trying to overthrow it, which means you're necessarily going to always be appealing to the thing to overthrow the thing because you don't have the requisite force to
Yeah, but feminism isn't about overthrowing the patriarchy necessarily, right? It's not. Also, overthrow is such a strong word, right? Like, I would say that it's a critique of patriarchy and to fix what is unfair, right? Because women should be able to divorce without massive cultural and community peer pressure, right? But I guess Andrew doesn't believe in that, I'm guessing.
overthrow it yourself.
What's the thing? What are they
Okay.
appealing to?
The patriarchy.
So the issue with feminism is that they appeal to patriarchy to overthrow the patriarchy.
Well, men has to be a part of feminism, right? Men is a necessary part of feminism. But I wouldn't say that women have to primarily rely on men in order to address patriarchy as a challenge, right? Or as a problem. Yeah, there's just retarded logic. It's just retarded. No, it's like strawmanning, right? It's like, oh yeah, feminism is all about X, but you're saying, wait, but feminism is about X, Y, and Z. You're excluding Y and Z. And he's like, no, feminism is about X. So you're saying that feminism is about X, right? No, feminism is about X, Y, and Z. Y and Z. And he's like, no, that's what I'm saying. Y and Z belong under X, right? No.
What does that look like?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so like let's take the Middle East for instance.
Mhm.
When Middle Easterners tell women that they don't have any rights, do women have rights anymore?
When they just tell them? I mean, I don't know. It seems like they have an oppressive structure that takes away their rights.
It does seem like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What can women do about that? Nothing, right?
Right. Okay. So you're saying that they need the patriarchy to fight against the patriarchy, and so it always exists.
Yeah, they're necessarily appealing to the patriarchy over and over and
Okay.
over and over and over again.
Do you think that
They're
they can
trying
make
to
progress,
dismantle a thing
So
by appealing to the
stupid,
thing to
dude.
dismantle the thing in an infinite regress.
But it seems to work at least better in the United States or other Western countries than Eastern countries. So it seems like it's working.
As long as all you're saying is that the patriarchy is benevolent.
Yeah, as long as I guess men are benevolent.
As long as that's right.
But it seems to
doesn't
work.
it seem like you should be a little bit thankful for the benevolence of men then?
I guess so. Yeah. But
I
wouldn't it be?
guess so,
But wouldn't it be
yeah.
men that put them in
I
that position
guess
in the first place? So you're being benevolent or
Wait,
you're being
wait,
thankful.
hang on.
Well, hold on.
Hang on.
Wouldn't men in general? Because I don't think that every man alive is a creator of patriarchy. I think it's ridiculous to blame all men for patriarchy. I think that's just stupid. But historically, it's men who created the patriarchy. So why would you need to be like super thankful to the group of people who created the patriarchy?
Because if you're a feminist and you have no morality, no structured morality, and rights are just social constructs, and all of these things are just products of the mind, then malevolence and benevolence has no grounding. So you're just basically, there's no position from which you can critique the malevolence of the patriarchy or the benevolence of the patriarchy. So if men want to oppress women from the feminist worldview, they have no position from which to criticize them, except, well, we just prefer that you don't. And if men say, oh, well, we just prefer that we do, what's their grounding then, dude? What are they going to appeal to then?
Well, it sounds like we're getting more to a conversation about some kind
Well, data, right? You can make appeals to data. You can just simply say like, well, it shows here that marriages are more unsuccessful when the man is abusive towards the woman. I don't think that is something that is that controversial, right? That's not something that's controversial. So therefore, it would be part of a feminist movement to have women be more equal in a relationship. Like, isn't that a good thing?
of objective morality rather than getting into a conversation about whether it's effective, because it has been effective in the United States.
Forget it.
Oh, Andrew Wilson does this on purpose, by the way, okay? I just want to say, like, we all know Andrew Wilson is doing this on purpose, but regardless, I just want to say, like, he is treating this too simply, okay? There's a lot of intersectional issues and things are intertwined with one another. Feminism also benefits men, okay? Men being emotionally open with one another, which is something that feminism does advocate for if you're a true feminist, okay? Men being emotionally open prevents male suicide. It prevents men from curbing themselves in Minecraft, right? It doesn't just benefit women, it benefits men and women, right? Ideally it should, right? So I don't like I don't like this like fucking conflation of men versus women. This men versus women framing does not make sense to me. Yeah, it's stupid. Yeah. This isn't women relying on men to overthrow the patriarchy or to enact feminism. That's stupid. Yeah? And pegging. Feminism helped men a lot with that. Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure that's personally relatable to Andrew Wilson.
Let's just say it doesn't exist. It's irrelevant.
Okay.
Let's just say that all morality is subjective. Then who's the
No, that's not. Oh my God. What?
subject? You, right?
Okay, sure.
Okay,
So
so if you're the
stupid.
subject and I'm the subject and I want to punish you for whatever particular reason I want,
Yeah.
what makes me less right than you?
Is it going to be like a force doctrine thing? Because like I could physically stop you from punishing me or something? Is that what you're looking for?
No.
Because it seems like we're getting very overly complicated on the conversations.
We're not overly complex.
I think so. I think that the simplified version of this is like, hey, women want access to more rights and some kind of equal rights to be on a more equal footing, so that they don't have to be put in positions of being abused by men.
Because they prefer them?
Prefer what, equal rights?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. To the alternative.
So what if men don't prefer to give it to them? Why are those men wrong?
Then I guess we'd be in the Middle East.
Yeah, but why are those men wrong if they don't want to?
Why are they right if they want to be able to?
Yeah, that's answering question with a question.
Papa doesn't know how to argue. Well, the issue here is that I think Papa is trying to take the angle of like, oh, I'm the grounded, I'm like the grounded fucking normie person, right? He's trying to act like the normie person. And Andrew Wilson is fundamentally going like, I'm going full debate mode and I'm going to show how stupid you are, right? Like that's essentially what is going on, yeah?
Yeah.
Question, then ask the question.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
That is fair.
I think that society is functions more healthily when men and women both have an equal say in pretty much every structure.
Yeah, but you see how that just goes back to preference? I think
guess,
me,
sure.
I'm the subject, right?
But why
You're the subject.
is your preference?
Thanks, that
It's playing stupid with Andrew. No, but it's a good tactic, okay? It's a good tactic to be grounded. I think it's a good tactic to try to ground yourself and to speak like a regular human being, because it makes debate bros look unhinged, right? Which is what's happening. It does make Andrew look unhinged, because if they are unhinged, then yeah, I mean, like, it works, right? It works. I mean, obviously, Andrew Wilson has an absolutely insane fan base, by the way. I just want to say Andrew Wilson's fan base is fucking nuts. They donate to him thousands of dollars every time he streams, like tens of thousands of dollars. However, Andrew Wilson will only look good to his own fan base. Andrew Wilson looks unhinged to anybody outside of his fan base. Like Papa Gut's audience probably thinks that Andrew Wilson is fucking nutters. Yeah.
Better than my preference.
Yeah, that's my question to you. Why is your preference better than my preference? Why?
I think that just makes more sense, because you put people into a position when you have one class of people with a higher amount of power over another, it very quickly can lead to abuse, whether it's men or women having a higher class of power.
Yeah, but see, we're back to that's circular. It just goes back to the
I don't
same
think it's
question.
circular at all.
If men are abusing women,
Yeah.
why is that bad?
Because they're getting hurt. Abuse usually hurts people.
Yeah, so why is that bad though?
I don't think that we should hurt
Because you
people.
think-
I don't
Yeah,
think-
exactly.
Because hurt is bad? Yeah, exactly. Like, again, trying to do the casual conversation approach does work. Yeah.
I don't think we should do it. So you just back to the preference again.
Okay. So you think that
it's just
being
obvious,
preferable or okay for women?
I think that if your morality boils down to preference, then you just saying I prefer that you don't do this, and me saying, well, I prefer that I do this.
Well, I think
you
my
have
morality
no
boils
basis
down.
for which to say
I do.
that I'm wrong.
My morality just boils down to, I guess, like fundamentally treating people with respect. I don't know, and not abusing people.
So preferences.
Yeah, it's my preference. So like I said, like a couple minutes ago, we're getting into a conversation about objective morality. Why don't we just go there?
We already are there.
Oh, okay.
There's no reason to justify objective morality if it's the case that morality is subject, meaning subject to you. Why would I ever need to justify anything besides fine? Then I'll just use force to do whatever I want because I'm the subject.
Are you saying that's okay, or
then under a subjectivist worldview, yeah, it'd be fine. I'm the subject.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess there'd have to be enough people who disagreed with you to want to counter against that. Is that the foundation of America, though? Right.
So then, by that same logic, as long as there's enough people who say no, then I'm right.
Like Andrew just looks like fucking nuts, and I kind of like how the tactic of I like how Andrew's own fucking thing is working against him, because Andrew is speaking about all of this stuff in a very unemotional way, right? And Andrew does this on purpose because he wants to appear like a Giga Chad to his audience, right? He wants to appear like a Giga Chad to his audience, which is why he tries to act this way. But the fact that he is trying to say all of these absurd things so calmly is like, that makes him look like a psychopath, right? He says like, what's bad about hurting women? And he says it in like a very unemotional way, makes him look nuts. Okay, which is good, right? That's what you want, by the way, for a video or whatever, right?
Unfortunately, that would be how it would work, yeah. But hopefully we don't get to that.
Yeah,
point.
Right. So
I mean, we're in a constant like battle of opinions and ideas, right? That's how.
Do you see why that's not a tenable? Do you see why that's not a tenable position?
Why?
Because if that's the case, then any critique that you have of any of the things that you consider men do to women, which are malevolent, is just a matter of subject. To the subject, the woman says, "No, I don't like this. Therefore, it's wrong." The man says, "No, I do like this. Therefore, it's right." How do we define or decide who's correct there without appealing to the masses? Because if the masses agree with me that I can abuse my wife, then I'm morally correct. And if the masses believe that I should not abuse my wife, then I'm morally incorrect.
That's how it is. Yeah, you have to appeal to the masses of people if you want to live in a society. Yeah, unfortunately.
So morality is
and you know, there's plenty of there's plenty of men who are believers in feminism. In fact, probably a lot of Western men believe in feminism. So, you know, like, do we really have to appeal to, is it really a man versus woman thing? Is it really a man versus woman thing? Or do men also think that there is an issue going on and they believe in feminism, right? It's such a silly question to put this as some kind of war or conflict or battle. It's a social movement, and social movements can be literally anybody participating in it, right? It sounds like he's getting bothered that things aren't going in his direction. Well, because Papa Gut is playing stupid, right? Like he's conceding already. He's already saying, well, I'm conceding. I'm like, you know, I'm a little dumb or whatever. Like, Andrew likes going to insults like, well, you're dumb, you're retarded, you're dumb, you're retarded, you're pathetic, right? Like he likes to go there and he likes to do like these microaggressions like, yeah, of course you don't know. Of course you don't know. Of course, it's not surprising that you don't know. It's okay. Let me explain it to you, Papa Gut. Let me explain it to you. It's okay. I can explain this to you. I can explain this to you. Like, yeah, he does that on purpose. He tries to piss the other person off, so then they debate worse. Yeah, but yeah, you can't fall for it. Okay.
Subject to the masses. So if that's the case, my friend,
but he does
if the
on
masses
purpose.
say that you should be able to sleep with girls who are 12 or 13 or 14, you actually have no moral argument that you can make against that now.
Well, I do have a moral argument for me personally.
No, you don't.
I do.
No, you just said that your personal morality is subject to the masses.
Yeah. Well, no, I said is that I didn't say my personal, and if I did insinuate, that's not what I meant. What I said is that like societal morality, unfortunately, is going to be subject to the masses. I can have a personal morality, and I can advocate for that morality, and I can try to use different things to get people to understand why I think and why they would think by extension we should have that type of a morality. Like, for instance, we shouldn't sleep with 12-year-olds because their children's still developing.
Then you're the ultimate arbiter of morality.
No, we would all be the ultimate arbiter. I would exist in a society of advocation.
But do you understand that we all could not? It's not possible for all of us to be the ultimate arbiter of morality. There would have to be one arbiter of morality,
well, I don't think
or
that,
no
arbiter. But that would be counterintuitive to like a democracy or a democratic republic, right? We're not. There's no. Well, I guess you say the president, but like we all have the ability to cast our vote, which contributes to our.
Remember that Andrew does this deliberately, okay? Like he's doing all of this deliberately. This kind of like obfuscation, the complicating of terms on purpose, right? It's like this is all very deliberate in a bad faith way. You can tell Andrew Wilson is grifting as well because he avoids certain debates. I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to debate Pisco. Pisco called him out. He doesn't want to debate Pisco. I don't know. There's like multiple encounters that he just doesn't want to do. And yeah, it's Yeah, so stupid.
Morality.
Yeah, but
as a
now you have
society.
a separate problem. If we as a democracy decide you can marry 13-year-olds, you still would say that's wrong.
Yeah.
What would make that wrong
I don't
except
think
your
the problem is that
preference?
it's wrong.
Yeah, what would
Unnecessary grift. I would say it's definitely grifty for the most part. If you're somebody who deliberately avoids some debates strategically in a way where a narrative of it makes sense, where you're avoiding the people who are able to actually push back on your beliefs, right? Yeah, of course. And especially when like you're trying to act like this on screen, right? You appear even more inauthentic. This telling whether or not somebody is grifting is like trying to tell whether or not somebody is cheating on you. You can never confirm it, but you suspect something is going on, right? And I think that some things just has to begin with a suspicion, and it's okay to have that suspicion, right?
what would make it wrong other than your preference?
Right. That would have a conversation about how 13-year-olds would be.
That's nice.
subject
They
to
don't care
abuse.
about your conversation. They think
Well,
you're
they
fucking
but they
idiot. What makes
do.
you right?
But don't they do? Don't they?
No,
That's how the world has always worked.
If democratically
It's
they
all
decide you
person's
can marry
debate.
13-year-olds, Papa Gut says no, you can't. That's against my preferences. What?
You think Andrew doesn't legitimately believe the things he says? Oh, I believe plenty. But I think that he's also going above and beyond to act in a very exaggerated way beyond than how he would act at home. There's no way he acts like this. It's very cringe and performative. It's extremely performative. Overly so, I would say, yeah. Like he's acting a character, clearly, right? You can see it too.
Makes you right and all of them wrong? What makes you morally correct and all of them morally incorrect?
I think it's wrong, right? So that's what I'm going to keep saying, and we're going to keep dancing
It's-
around.
it's-
We're going
it's
to keep dancing
obviously
around this idea
saying
of
it's wrong.
objective morality,
So it's
right?
wrong
To me.
because you think it's wrong.
I think it's
So
wrong
you're
because
the
a lot of
ultimate
people.
arbiter.
Well, no, it's wrong. Well, I don't have like me thinking something's wrong doesn't change legislation, right? So like me thinking
We're not
something's
talking
wrong.
about legislation. We're talking
Well,
about what's
when you say
moral.
ultimate arbiter, that's what.
So
saying.
if legislators get
Mhm.
together,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
and like 80% of the people agree with them.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Let's make it super easy.
Sure. 90%.
99.99999%. Only
Wow.
you disagree with them.
Wow, that's
All
crazy.
the rest of them think that marrying 13-year-olds is fine.
Yeah.
You would still object to that, right?
Yeah. Well, didn't society used to be like that until we
Yeah,
implemented more
but
rules
you would
against
still
it?
object to that, right?
Yeah, but didn't we used to have a society
So
that
if
was
you
much
would
more
still
loose?
object to that, what would make your objection moral and all of them immoral?
I think that the 13-year-olds shouldn't be marrying adults. And then I would have you want to go in depth? I think you understand why 13-year-olds shouldn't be marrying
No,
adults.
I don't understand from your view what would make your position moral and all of their positions immoral.
Well, I would say that. Okay, I'm assuming that you're doing like a debate
This
thing.
debate
You're doing
bro
a debate
thing.
It's
I
not a
think
debate
so
thing. It's a
I think you
legitimate
realize-
question.
I don't think it
It's
is a
so
legitimate question. I think that we're
cringe.
dancing
Why?
around this
What's
idea.
legitimate
I think that
about
we're
it?
dancing around this idea like you have an objective
We're right
morality.
at the heart. We're right at the heart of it. If it's the case that you believe everybody else is wrong and that they all say marrying 13-year-olds is fine,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Why are you morally correct and all of them are morally incorrect?
Because
Why?
13-year-olds aren't old enough to consent. They don't have like a developed brain.
That doesn't tell me why.
Well, no,
you're
that, but
morally
that,
correct
no,
and
it
they're
does,
not.
but it does start.
It
Yes,
doesn't.
it does. What are you
It
talking about?
doesn't.
Why not?
Yeah,
Why
they say-
is it?
we
Why
don't-
are my
they say they-
reasons? Why are my
because they
reasons
don't-
not a contribution to why I'm
Because
morally
they
correct?
don't believe because they believe that it's fine, regardless of if they can consent or not.
Okay,
They
but
think it's moral. You think it's
they
immoral.
think it's.
Why
And
are
then,
you
but then I
right?
would have a conversation. I would express my opinion.
Yeah, and they say fuck
and they
your
would be,
but that
and they would
doesn't
say,
tell me
"Wow, that
why
makes a
you're
lot of
right.
sense." Isn't that how
doesn't tell
we
me-
change?
That doesn't tell me why you're morally correct and they're morally wrong.
But it does, though, right? Like
How?
we're a society of different conversations about different things, and I think most people are reasonable, regardless of whether
That
I'm
doesn't
left
tell
or
me
right.
shit. Do you understand?
And so that if I
Repeat
sit
the
here
question
and I
so
say
that
like,
you
"Hey,
know
listen,
it.
I think a 13-year-old is like would be completely abused by an adult because they're not in the same place at all. They're not physically as strong. They're not mentally as strong." That would, I would imagine, change the minds of people. Like it has historically. I believe in the
Yeah,
Accidental
the
mute
question is,
ends
if
in
all of
10
them
minutes?
said
Oh.
no, if all of them think that abuse is fine, if all of them think that consent is not required, if all of them believe that that's moral, and you're the only one who doesn't think it's immoral, what makes you right and all of them wrong? What makes
Those
you
are mute.
morally correct and they're all morally incorrect? That doesn't. No, you didn't answer the question. You didn't answer it. Well, here, let me show you what your answer. I'll show you
you're
your
not
answer.
satisfied. We're not
Because
satisfied
there
with it,
wasn't
but
an
that was the
answer.
answer.
Here's what you said. I said, why is it that that would be the case that you're morally correct and all of them are morally wrong? And you said, because I'd have a conversation with them. What the fuck does that mean?
Well, that's not
What the
I
fuck
said.
does that mean?
What I did is I laid out that
Andrew hit the mute button. No, I think that somehow it was muted during that specific segment. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
13-year-olds
So
will be
stupid.
abused because they're
They
children.
think abuse is
and they're
moral.
not.
They think it's moral.
Okay,
What makes
so then
them wrong?
I guess I would lose that conversation.
Yeah,
But that's
so what
usually
makes
how
them
we're
wrong.
Okay, I think I've
What
answered
makes
this
them
question
wrong?
multiple times.
No,
Again,
you
so I'm
haven't.
assuming that you are more focused on like an objective morality, where you say like, "Hey, the
No, I'm
Bible."
focused on trying to
says that-
understand why they're all wrong. That abuse
Yeah.
of children is fine.
Mhm.
They think it's fine. They think it's moral. Why are they wrong morally and you're right morally?
I've explained this like multiple times. You don't.
Explain
The
it
fact
again.
that you're
Use
not
small
satisfied
words.
with my answer is
Explain
okay.
it again. Use small words.
Yeah, the fact that you're not satisfied with my answer is okay, but like I've already explained it. Why don't we move
No,
on
you
to like,
haven't
what your-
explained it.
Why don't you move on to like,
Explain
what
it
your
again.
worldview is?
Explain it again.
Okay, well, I'm not going to explain it like 3 times. So
You haven't
do
explained anything.
Why don't you
You
just
haven't told
explain?
me why it is that you're right
Uh-huh.
and all and moral,
Okay.
and all of them are immoral.
Why don't you just
Why?
move on to what your worldview is so we can have a
Answer the
conversation?
fucking question, dude.
Why not just answer like you give me
Stop
your
hoping. Stop
perspective?
They got
hoping and just
him.
answer
You
the
really
question.
got him.
Okay, so why not just give me your perspective so I can understand better?
Okay, here's my
You really
perspective.
got it,
My
man.
perspective is
Cool.
that it's irrelevant for me to
Oh,
have to ground
man.
any sort of morality from to a person who can't explain to me why it is that anything I do is immoral.
This shit is so stupid.
So what's your morality based on?
Who cares? It's irrelevant. Can you tell me why, even if it was
Okay.
based in total lies, it would be immoral?
I'm kind of just. I'm
No,
not.
you can't. You
I
can't
think
do
that
it.
like a pretty normal person would look at what I'm saying and say like, oh yeah, we're a collection of different people with different ideas, and that's how our governmental structure has been created and evolved over
It's
time.
irrelevant. Totally
And
irrelevant.
so like you disagree with that. That's okay. So like where do you?
No, it's not about making a compelling argument, Dirty Dancer. It's about making the other side look unhinged, right? Because ultimately, Papa Gut isn't trying to appeal to an audience of people who are there to see him debate, right? Papa Gut's audience specifically is a group of people that like to see him have conversations with people, right? They like him for being grounded or some shit like that, right? And while I don't think I like Papa Gut too much at all, I think that he's just doing what his audience wants him to do as well, right? They're both doing what their audience wants to do, right? Papa Gut's audience wants to see him make Andrew look unhinged by having a normal conversation or some shit. Then his audience is that's fine, but they don't really care about your opinion specifically, right? Just like how we don't care about the average Papa Gut fan's opinion, right? It's like what can you do about it? Like it is what it is, right?
You source your ideology from? Like, is it very religious centric?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
So now help me out here. If you can't tell me that anything that I do is immoral without appealing to a consensus, and you say as long as the consensus is on my side, then that means what I'm doing is moral. Then that would mean that if I advocated for the most horrific things in the world, i.e. SA cages,
why not just say sexual assault?
What would be the standard because of YouTube? What would be
YouTube
the
doesn't
standard?
censor
Yeah, well, they may not censor things for you, but they censor all kinds of things for me.
Okay.
But anyway,
I don't think
if
that's
you
true,
say,
okay.
well, I mean, I don't know, I'm one of the most mass reported people out there for no reason, but whatever.
Okay.
You would know.
For no reason? For no reason. Really? Okay.
Oh, I wouldn't. How would I know? It's just my channel. But anyway,
So true, yeah.
if they stuff them all in SA cages, right?
Okay.
Because that's the consensus.
Yeah.
Can you tell me why that's immoral?
Yeah, I would take away someone's agency and autonomy over themselves, which they should be able to have over themselves. It's wrong. It's abusive and it's harmful and it's bad.
Yeah, but
because
do
you're
you
harming
see how
somebody.
that's a tautology?
I think it's perfectly rational, reasonable, and it's what we've been founding our entire structure on for since we started. So I think it's fine.
It's bad because it's bad.
Sure, if that's what you got out of what I said, sure, yeah.
That's what you said. It's bad.
If that's what you interpreted from what I said, sure, yeah.
Well, if the consensus is on my side,
okay.
I bet this is how Pisco acts at every single gathering. At every single gathering, Pisco is like, "Yeah, did you rent out your apartment yet? Yes or no?" Well, like I kind of did. Like I only paid the application fee, but like I didn't go all the way. Yes or no? Yes or no? Did you rent out your apartment yet? Yes or no? Like no. I mean, like I guess not. Technically speaking, like thank you. So
what
no.
would make us immoral and you moral?
I guess nothing. I guess
nothing.
Sure, yeah.
So if the answer is nothing, then you have no position from which to critique.
Then how is the way?
You have no position from which to critique the morality of anybody ever.
So then how is it that my position that I'm saying has been how we've been operating since like the start of our country, and
it isn't.
What is
the country operated under a shared axiom of under God.
Okay. So like an objective morality of God.
That was the shared axiomatic presence.
And you think that
all of these rights are justified because we ground them in something higher than ourselves. From your view, all rights are justified because you fucking like them. And if the consensus says that we don't like them anymore, you don't have any grounding anymore.
What do you think my religious ideology is?
I think that you're at least from the clip that I saw.
Yeah.
I don't think you're religious at all.
How do you know I don't have a different relationship with God than you do? That's not grounded inside of religious text.
You might, but that doesn't mean that it's coherent.
I think it can be. I think a lot of the Bible is God talking to different people, mostly through feelings, and them feeling like, hey, this is better than that. And so, like, yeah, that's my relationship with God.
Is God the arbiter of morality?
Sure. Yeah, I think so. I'd like to think that.
So you ground your morality in God?
Yeah, I think that there's a greater power out there. Absolutely. Okay. I just think that the Bible has been taken advantage of by a lot of different people to express.
So what are the features of your God?
The same features as your God, except I guess mine doesn't justify slavery. That's why I think that like the Bible justifying slavery obviously isn't something that God would ever justify.
When does the Bible justify slavery?
In the Old Testament.
Where?
Inside the Old Testament.
Oh, so you don't know. I can help you with this if you want.
You feel like you need to. Well, I think you know it justifies slavery. So why not just be like, oh yeah, here's where you're wrong though. Instead of
I'm actually willing to grant this. It doesn't, but I'm actually willing to just grant it.
Well, since you could beat your slave for like what 2 days? As long as they don't die within 2 days, it does justify slavery.
Yeah, just for the sake of the conversation, I'll just grant it for you.
Okay. Right? Well, it is in the Bible.
I think that's an ahistorical view of it, but fine.
Okay. Well, that is what the Bible says though.
Yeah, where in the book have you just made it up?
I mean, it says in the Bible that you can beat your slave, and if it doesn't die in 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, you're not exactly keen on context though. Otherwise, you would make these videos about me. So
what is the context?
Here, I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Let's pretend for a moment.
Well, no. Why don't you just explain the context to me? Like let's have a conversation.
I'll explain it. Right. Okay. Here's how I'll explain it.
I'm ready.
If it's the case that you have the option of eradicating an enemy completely, eradicating them, enslaving them by putting them in internment camps or things like this, or various camps in which you can have them under a POW
I hate religious debates, dude. It's so gay. Can we just say like religion is made up and God is made up and there's a big black void after death and just move on already?
Conditions or various things like this, or you risk letting them go so that they go back to the enemy and continue to aid them in fighting against you. Which one would you choose?
Is that the context of
Yes.
that? What
Yes.
about, so how does that pair into indentured servitude? Indentured servitude? Isn't that a lot of what the
Well,
slavery is?
you're looking through the lens of presentism. It's a fallacious way to view the world.
So you're
the
saying
world didn't operate the same way.
Well, no,
thousands
that's
of
not.
years
I'm
ago.
not claiming. What I'm saying is, you made the claim that like every slave would have just run back to some kind of an enemy, and I'm saying, well, what about indentured servitude? Countering that every slave would be.
Yeah, but so
This isn't
I'm sorry,
a real
dude.
religious debate,
Indentured servitude
sure.
means you've sold yourself into it.
Yeah.
So you have the option to do that because you're a free person.
No, there's a whole conversation about like having financial agency and not having enough money to be able to survive and having to do that. But that's not the point I'm trying to make.
But this would comply with free will. This would comply with free will.
The point that I'm trying to make is that you're saying that like every one of the slaves was some kind of an enemy, and I'm just saying that's not the way that it has been. And I think that's an
How do you know?
I think that's an over exaggeration to try to make it seem like it was
justified. You want to demonstrate it? You want to demonstrate that?
What does that mean?
I mean, show me that that's the case from a biblical view.
Oh, do you want to show me that that's the case from a biblical view?
It's your claim.
Okay, so you have just as much claim as I do.
How?
I don't know. You aren't showing me either.
Why do I need to show you things about your claim?
I guess you don't. Yeah.
I don't exactly because it's your claim. You're the one who gets to give me the evidence for the claim. The thing is here that's bizarre to me is like under conditionals in which you can select for POW internment camps against the will of people rather than have them go back to the enemy. Would you select that?
I don't know. Maybe is that the entire context of all this justification of slavery?
Who cares? Just answer the question first.
Why doesn't
and then we'll talk about the justification.
Answer the question of why. Well, we're talking about the Bible. You're saying that in like
if it's the case that you were in a war with another nation and it was a brutal war between your people group and theirs, and you had three options. Option one, you can exterminate them, civilians and all. Option two, you can send them back to the enemy, and that's where they're going to go, where they'll continue to aid them. Or option three, you can intern them against their will. Which would you do?
Well, we're not talking about interning them against their will. We're talking about interning them and forcing them to do labor.
Yeah. So what's wrong with prisoners doing labor?
Well, we're talking about like slaves. We're not talking about prisoners though. We're talking about like slaves, right? Like
historically, what's the distinction between somebody who's interned against their will and forced to do labor and a slave?
So you're saying that every single slave, according to the
answer the question, dude. Stop avoiding. What's the difference between a slave and an interned POW forced to do labor? What's the difference?
Yeah. So you're saying that every single slave, according to the Bible,
just
was
answer the question.
Some kind of
it's
a POW?
not what you're saying. You're saying X. Just answer the question. What's the difference between a slave and a POW forced to do work at gunpoint?
So I just want to be clear. What you're saying is that every slave in the Old Testament was some kind of a POW.
I just want to be clear. I didn't say anything like that. Now answer the fucking question.
So now why not just give me a clear, concise take?
Answer the question.
Yeah, well, you're proposing hypotheticals that don't seem to actually be related to religion, so I don't really know why to answer the question.
Can you even repeat the question?
Are you okay?
Answer the question.
Okay. Are you saying that most or all the justification of slavery in the Old Testament?
That's a question. That's not answering the question.
Well, I'm just confused because it seems like you're not
having a conversation. Let me unconfuse it.
Like you're not having a conversation about religion, and you're just proposing like an absurd hypothetical.
Yeah, so here's my question. What's the difference between slavery and being an intern POW forced to do labor at gunpoint? What's the difference?
At gunpoint? Like you have no choice but to, if it's death or work, then it's slavery. But then by that definition, right? Like if you want to say that everything is slavery, that's fine. You can make that argument. Like, oh yeah, like we go and do our white collar jobs because like we have to make money. And if you don't make money, then you're going to die, right? Or whatever the fuck. Then yeah, sure. Like if you want to make that argument, that's fine. But obviously that's stupid. We have a very specific definition of slavery out there, right? Like it isn't just, well, you're a slave to society, so therefore technically you're a slave, or you committed crimes, you ended up in prison, and so therefore, although to be fair, I can totally be open to an argument where somebody is considered a slave after they've been arrested and thrown into prison, and they have to go and fucking mine rocks or some shit for cents at a time, right? But the implication of slaves is that, they're not property. Exactly. I think, that's the biggest difference. They're not property. I think that you can get really close to property. I think that prisons in a way own the prisoners, I guess, but it's just like how society owns all of us, right? And we wouldn't consider us slaves, I don't know, right? But if one person can simply just own another and it's not just a service, right? Like for example, if you're in prison, you can choose not to work, right? You can choose not to make money. You can choose not to make like sense. But obviously, it's like the only thing available to you, so you're probably going to go for it, right? Yeah. Are there systems in place to get you out of prison? You mean like part of the judicial shit, right? If you're a slave, there are no such systems? No, I'm pretty sure you can buy your way to freedom. It's possible. It's possible to buy your way to freedom. That's happened before. But most of the time, it doesn't happen like that. You're a slave for the rest of your life.
Like a prisoner of war versus somebody that's forced to do labor at gunpoint? I guess
what's the difference between a slave and...
Buy your way to freedom how? I'm not here to tell you how. I don't know. All I know is that what I learned back then was just simply that there were slaves out there who did buy themselves freedom. That's what they did. This is what happened, right? This is something I was taught. So if it happened, then it happened, right? Like how? Probably, yeah, like the owner allows them to, right? Or yeah, like that's it. If the owner allows them to, which is not exactly a system in place, I guess. It's not really a system in place. It's like something else.
POW interned against their will and forced to do labor. What's the difference?
Well, the slave has to do work or they get beat to death, right? Or as long as they don't die.
POW does too.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying that's a good thing that we imprison people and beat them?
Oh God.
Isn't that like, I don't think you're supposed to do that.
What's the difference between going through a stop sign and, and stopping at a stop sign? So you're saying it's good to go through stop signs? Bro, come on. Just answer the question.
What was the question
again? Between a POW who's interned against their will, forced to do labor, and a slave.
Why does it matter? It sounds like they're both bad. So why does it matter that?
Can you just answer the question?
Well, they're both slaves, right? It's just
okay. Thank you. So they're both slaves.
What does it have to do? So you're saying that most of the slaves in the Old Testament were prisoners of war.
Yes.
Okay. If you say, I've never heard that before. I've seen a lot of different conservatives talk about that. This is the first time I'm hearing
but
that.
Not only that.
Yeah, but that framing is so stupid, and obviously that's a way to justify like slavery, essentially, right? Like you're saying, you're calling them prisoners of war, but prisoners of war have a very has a much lesser connotation than slavery, right? Slavery describes something more specifically and more accurately than prisoners of war. But the benefit of calling it prisoners of war is that there's no big moral condemnation behind it, right? No, guys, it's not just simply like, because technically slaves are men, right? Or women, right? You can just say they're humans. But there's no point in saying, oh, well, this person has 20,000 humans. What the fuck does that mean? What the fuck does having 20,000 humans mean? You mean slaves? Slaves? Why do you use the term human? Well, I mean, aren't they human? Yeah, I guess technically they're human, I guess, but right? Terms matter because terms have weight, right? Terms matter because terms have weight. Yeah?
There was the option of extermination or integration. You tell me.
For what? There's no third option?
The third option is that you let them go back to the enemy, their false god, and then continue to attack you.
Okay.
Also, yeah, I'm pretty sure prisoners of war is a legal term as well. I don't know if you can describe it like that, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
so you're saying that.
So this is the problem. This is the problem, right? Is like from your view, right this second, you've justified slavery because you yourself would be a slave owner if you were in charge of a military. Okay. Yeah, if you were in charge of a military and had POWs and you made them work, like clean out their own latrines, various things like this against their will, then you actually don't even have a moral ground from which to oppose slavery now.
Well, do I have to beat my slaves though? Like, let's say that what you're saying is correct, that most slaves are prisoners of war. Why do you have to subject them to rules that allow you to beat them?
For the same reason that you would have corporal punishment with POWs as a disincentive for them to kill your people, poison your food,
but they're already
things like this.
Well, but they're already captured.
Slaves
so
are not
now we're doing slavery.
Okay, you get what I mean. Okay, don't make me roll my eyes twice.
Labor.
And what's a soldier's job when they're captured? Is to escape. To escape, hinder the enemy, and kill them by any means necessary. So my guess is that you probably wouldn't want your soldiers to get poisoned. And if they tried to poison one of your soldiers, maybe you'd execute them, maybe you do something like that, send a message, stop doing that, right?
Sure.
Wouldn't you? Yeah, I guess.
I guess so.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Okay. So you're saying that in general, that's the only instance of slavery, or the majority of instances of slavery is prisoners of war. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Cool.
Well, yeah.
Wait, in the Bible or in general?
The idea is integration or extermination.
Do you think that's justifiable nowadays that we have better technologies to be able to beat people? Like, let's say we imprison people, or we don't do that anymore, right? So we change.
Yeah, we do. We do that. Yeah.
I don't think that we usually beat people.
I think if you try to escape when you're a prisoner of war, the United States will shoot you.
They might shoot you, sure, if they couldn't get you back in any other way. Okay.
Yeah, and I think they beat your ass too before they brought you back if you resisted in any way, shape, or form. And I think if you tried to poison their men,
do you think that, or do you know that?
Punishments. I know for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, you just said you think. I just wanted to. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
If you try to escape from a low facility prison, they can shoot you.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word for it.
Guards, they beat you.
Yeah, but that's not the same as beating you. Running away from a prison and then stopping you is not the same as beating you. Wait, what? Dude, oh my God.
Right? No, not usually. There's usually oversight.
Yes, they
so
do.
stupid.
Yes, they do.
Like American prisons?
Do.
No.
Yes.
No, you're not supposed to do that. That would be...
so if you tried to punch a guard in the face, you're not going to get your ass kicked. Huh?
That's different from trying to escape. If that's part of it...
That's really different from just simply beat... Dude, what?
Then you might get your ass kicked, sure, but they're supposed to...
If you resist...
When people say beating, like, what they have in their head is, like, people getting fucking beat up sometimes for no reason, or for, like, tiny infractions in prison, right? Not for running away from a prison. Like, oh yeah, you fucking looked at a guard wrong and the guards like decided to be cruel, right? Like that's what I'm thinking of. Not like this, oh well, it's just, oh well, you do something extreme and justifiable and then they fucking, that's like saying cops are beating people in this, although that's not too far from this truth, right? Yeah, again, this is a play on language, right? In a very dishonest manner. It's a play on language in a dishonest manner on purpose, right? That's what's going on. That's what's happening, right? It's a play on language in a dishonest way.
Their authority, you're going to get your ass beat.
Sure. Sometimes, depending on what you do to resist their authority, you could. Yeah. Okay. So I'll have to look into that later. I'll take what you're saying, I guess, at fact that most prisoners, according to the Bible, were prisoners of war that were aggressing. I'm assuming onto
no.
the Jewish
That's
people.
the more moral position.
Well, no.
Integrate.
But we're talking about
to integrate as slaves than extermination.
Sure. So,
and that would be under the same ideals of prisoner of war. Yes.
Okay. So I'm just sorry. So I'm going to take your word for it and look into it later. That most slaves, when it came to, I guess, this is for Jewish people, I guess at this point, were prisoners of war, and they were not the aggressors either. Like it was people trying to attack, Jewish people, and they enslaved them, and they created these punishments to justify.
Well, these are long-standing feuds between people groups like the Canaanite.
Oh yeah, I remember when Moses freed the prisoners of war. Hey guys, do you guys remember when Moses freed the prisoners of war? Me too, guys.
For instance, you're talking about long-standing.
The guy really knows how to bust people out of prison, I guess.
Perpetual warfare for a long time.
God said, no, prisoners of war bad.
Between many of these groups. And what you do is you put things through the ideas of presentism, and you forget that the world was once a much more barbaric place.
Sure.
And we have technology that's great, but we still engage in the same exact barbarism. If prisoners try to escape, we shoot them.
I don't think that
if prisoners try to attack, we do.
Well,
we turn people against their will all the time and make them work.
Sure, but in general, we're not as barbaric as the cultures back in the day, right? Like that. Because you just said that, like, I'm looking at it through today, a modern lens, which is much softer, right? So like I have that lens.
In many ways, we're more barbaric, and in many ways we're not.
Oh, okay. Like in what ways are we more barbaric now?
Like, for instance, I think that dueling was a much more sophisticated way to take care of issues than modernity, where you have to yell and scream and shit and nothing gets resolved.
Interesting. Is dueling in the Bible?
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, you said you think it's better, but if it's not in the Bible, then what does it matter?
I didn't say I think it's better.
You just said the word
think. I'm talking about barbarism.
Well, no, but you said that you think that dueling would be better. So I was asking if it's just but like, why is it better? Is it grounded in the Bible?
It's a better way for you to take care of conflict.
Okay,
that's it.
I'm
not getting a moral odd here.
Well, you said you think. Okay, well, you think. I was wondering why you think that. Is it something in the Bible?
Because once upon a time, if you slighted a man's honor, he would shoot you.
That seems better.
And so there was a lot less slighting of people's honor.
Was there?
Yeah, he's so tough. There's absolutely no way. Andrew would ever do a duel. There's absolutely no way. Someone challenges him to a duel, he'll be like, nah, no thank you.
Didn't we have more wars back then? Was there more conflict?
More wars in the 20th century?
Well, I mean, we have a much larger population scale. We have a much larger population scale now, but
dude, why does he laugh? It's such a fake laugh. Guys, this guy's a faker, okay? This guy's not serious, okay? And Andrew is fundamentally not a serious person. It's so obvious he's not serious. It's so stupid, dude. Oh my God.
Say proportionally, probably less wars now than back then.
More wars in the 20th century, I think, than in all of history.
Yeah, but we're talking about population scale, right? We have 7 billion people on Earth now. That's huge explosion. So I would say proportionally, we probably have fewer wars. Yeah, but I'm assuming you understand
Is that the guy from Joe Rogan? Yes, that's the guy from Joe Rogan. Although he has a lot more history than just Joe Rogan,
so.
Sure,
yeah, I don't think that's even the case. I think if he did it per capita, that would be the case. But even then, no, the whole idea that we now have technology, so now we can kill a lot more people at once than we could with swords and shields is somehow, I don't understand. I don't know how we've avoided conflict here exactly. What are you talking about?
Why didn't say we avoided conflict?
How it's bad.
Since he always says that everyone must respect the Bible rulings. Wait, don't you understand? Don't you remember when the Bible said that if somebody gives you the licky, you must catch them with the blicky? If someone shows their cock, you have to use your Glock. Look into the Bible, you'll see it.
Better for avoidance of conflict. If it's the case that you could call a person out, let me ask you this: if it was a case right this second that you could, if a person slighted you, you could call them out for a duel. Yeah. Do you think that people would be way more careful about slighting other people?
Maybe, but wouldn't that go against some kind of a freedom of speech?
Yeah, maybe. But so what? What does that do with anything?
I mean, I'm a pretty big freedom of speech advocate. I think you should be able to call people gay and yell at them and call them gay. So
wait. Hang on. Actually, no, it wouldn't go against freedom of speech. How would it?
Oh, you don't have to accept the duel.
Yeah.
So then what does it matter?
Haven't you debated him before? I swear you have, and you pissed him off. No, he pissed me off. Okay, I didn't do well. It was when I was just started content creation, and I was not a good debater. Yeah.
Because
unless I dreamt it, you didn't dream it. I did debate him twice.
Because if it was the case that you could accept a duel and you turned it down, that'd be a slight on your honor.
Why can't? Does it have to be a duel to the death?
Most duels weren't.
Well, that's why can't you can do that nowadays. You can be like, I want to box you or something. You can do that.
No, it's not the same.
Why? Because you can't shoot each other.
Because death isn't in the equation. Generally.
Oh, sorry. I thought you just said that most people did not die. Sorry, that was me mishearing it. Okay, so it has to be a fight to the death.
No, it doesn't have to be a fight to the death. Death just needs to be present.
Oh, well, I don't think death should be present. But okay. I mean, I guess I don't know why killing people because they don't like you. That seems a little barbaric.
Even if you agree to it.
Well, yeah, you can agree to it. I guess. Well, I guess you couldn't agree.
Let's watch that debate first. No, it's not good memories. It's really not good memories.
To a fight to the death now, sure.
Why not?
Well, I don't think you're legally allowed to. I'm not saying you should.
Yeah, but why not? It's just stupid, right?
I got cooked in that debate, but I was making correct points. Okay.
It's just silly.
Maybe. I mean, I don't think it's a good idea for people to get into minor altercations because they've went after each other's ego or something and kill each other. It sounds like
it seems to me like way less people would be slighting other people if you could be like, okay, pistols at noon.
Well, they wouldn't though because you don't have to accept the pistol at noon, right? So it's like
but then the person can be like, see, that guy's a pussy, which
Or
therefore
or
slight on
maybe
your
that
honor,
guy's
right?
fucking gay.
Wait, then you can be a pussy. Like, are you not allowed to be a pussy? Oh, it's gay to preserve your life. I don't fucking know. Like, where are we on this? Like, are we? Yeah. So what if the other person calls you a pussy? Like, just this is so not serious, dude.
Yeah, maybe that guy's kind of fucking gay.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah, that would be a
my
slight on your honor. Oh,
God.
hey,
I
look, he
guess.
slanders everybody, but then won't show up to any of the duels. Like, it seemed like a pretty good way to organize things.
Fellas, is it gay to preserve your life? Fellas, is it gay to watch Destiny? The answer is yes, by the way.
It's interesting. I don't know if I agree with it. I'll have to think about that. That might be a little bit crazy. You might have a lot of people dying unnecessarily that could otherwise do other things like support their family.
Less people dying.
You think less people would? Why would less people die?
Well, because I think that what happens right
Great
now is that you
stuff,
have these
okay.
crimes of passions and various other things like this where people snap because they can't get satisfaction against their accusers. And so they lose
Okay.
their shit. And I think that if they were able to individually call out people who slighted their honor and say pistols at noon, I think that you would find that people were a lot more courteous to other people. That's all.
Maybe that's possible. I mean, I don't know that it's happening on
stands
such
to
a wide
reason,
scale.
right?
Well, we generally have a criminal justice system that I think for the most part works out pretty well. So I don't. Think
Oh, yeah,
that-
except unless it's blacks and women and everybody except white guys, right?
I don't know what that means. I'm a little confused. What do you
Like
mean?
you think the criminal justice system is awesome except for when it comes to minorities and everybody's not a white guy?
Honestly, generally, I think the criminal justice system is pretty decent. I don't think that our biggest issue in our society is necessarily the criminal justice system against black people. I think it's very difficult for anybody, white people, black people, any type of person, to be able to support themselves financially because of like massive job loss. So like any disparity that there is when it comes to black people or women or whatever, I think would largely go away if people had more financial opportunity. So like I'm not really focused on that. There's probably arguments.
So right now there's a disparity though, right? Of course.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's a disparity.
Yeah, of course.
I don't understand.
Just not for white people, right?
This is so awkward, dude. Like it's like talking to a wall, which is what this title is. It feels like you're talking to someone who isn't even human. Like you're talking to a caricature of the red pill. You're talking to a caricature of patriarchy or the most irrational side of men. It's so stupid, dude. Oh my God.
Is there a disparity where white people are getting overcharged?
It's actually so
Is there a disparity where black people are?
In low income areas, sure, but I think that could largely
No,
go
I
away
don't
with
think there
financial
is.
opportunity.
I don't think there is.
Okay. Well, I would say that it was mostly based on like financial opportunity, right? So like black people are disproportionately poor; they're going to go to jail more, right? I don't think it's because they're black; I think it's because they're poor. So if we could focus on the money,
But
part,
I would like to just very quickly,
Yeah.
if you don't mind,
Sure.
get back to this idea of why it is again that
I mean, I was having a nice. I think the conversation
Yeah.
went to a better spot when we were just kind of talking and bullshitting and keeping it casual instead of kind of
well,
debating.
it is casual, but I
Sure,
still
yeah.
I want you to actually engage with what I'm asking now.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, my audience is demanding me, okay? My audience is demanding me that I should own you, okay? Papa Gut, you don't understand, okay? My audience is asking for me to own you. It's getting too friendly. It's getting way too friendly. And my audience wants me to destroy you, okay? So, yeah, now go and be destroyed, I guess. Just like, I don't... Why does everything have to be like this, dude? Why does everything have to be so cringe? Like, so stupid.
Yeah. Sure.
Just like actually engage. Listen to what I'm saying. Don't listen to just respond. Just actually think about what I'm saying. Because
Well,
you want to
just to
understand
be clear,
my
I did concede that hey, I'm going to look into it later more about the
Yeah, I
slavery
get
thing.
it,
So
I
I
get
did.
it,
So
but
I am engaging. What you're saying
Yeah,
isn't
okay.
exactly
But
what
what I
think,
want you to do is actually think about what it is that I'm saying. Don't listen to
Okay.
respond.
I'm
right?
ready. I'm ready.
Understand
Yeah.
how I view the world, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the whole point?
Well, I think I do understand it. Like, you're very religious centric. Like you believe in an objective morality that comes from religion.
No, it's worse. It's worse. I don't
Oh.
believe that any of you have any leg to stand on to ever critique
Mhm.
another person's morality ever because you
Okay.
don't believe that there is any such thing as morality. And when
Why?
put to the question of this, I can demonstrate this for
Right,
you.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay. So if you make an appeal to consensus,
Yeah.
meaning X amount of people believe thing is moral,
Yeah.
right? And those people put in like you can marry 13-year-old girls.
Yeah.
Do you believe that that's immoral?
Yes, I do.
That makes sense to me that you would believe it's immoral.
Thank you.
But
I
can you tell
appreciate
me what would actually make that position moral and their position immoral?
God told me that's wrong.
It's a divine command.
Yeah. God says that you
Wait.
shouldn't abuse children to me.
Okay.
I feel him speaking
And where,
through me.
where did God tell you that through?
He's doing the same shit. It came to me in a dream. It came to me in a dream. Oh my God. Do it. You should say it. Just say it. It came to me in a dream. It came to me in a dream. Hey.
Just the learnings that I got through my growing up as a Roman Catholic. That's what
So
I
the Bible?
learned. Yeah, sure. The Bible, part of the
So-
Bible, and then there's aspects that I don't think are biblical because, like,
So now
I
the Bible
also,
is true.
I think that the way that I learned religion and God is
Great
true.
stuff.
Yeah, it's not all
So the
Bible
The
focused.
Bible is true.
Parts of it I think can be true. Sure.
Well, how do you know which parts are true?
God speaks to me.
Okay, what does he say?
He tells me that we should love people that aren't harming other people.
He does, huh?
Yeah, he tells me that. Why are you laughing
So
at that?
he beams it directly into your dome, does he?
Well, how else does God talk to you?
Okay, which parts of the Bible did God tell you were true?
He didn't tell me any parts of the Bible were true. I think God speaks to people through feelings.
Then why
and
is it
I,
that
and
you
I grew
only-
up religiously centric, and so
Then
I have
why is it
particular
that you
feelings.
believe some parts of the Bible are true again?
I think that a lot of the Bible has been corrupted by people that are trying to influence.
Bro, you know what? Maybe that's actually a good tactic, believer of light, okay? I think you should never defend yourself against Andrew, just keep on criticizing him. I think that Andrew Wilson is so bad faith that you shouldn't engage in good faith. I don't think you should engage in good faith. I think what you should do instead is that you should constantly just criticize him because that's what he does to everybody else, okay? Because he does that with everyone else. You should just endlessly criticize him and then make fun of him and force him to rage quit. Okay, if he quits, then say that he ran. All right, if he quits, then you get to say that he ran, and he never wants to quit either because he doesn't want to look like a pussy. All right, so keep in mind that yeah, you have him on the fucking clock if you do that. Okay, just keep on doing that.
The Bible into taking over and abusing power.
Well, you say a lot. That
because he can't leave. He just can't leave.
That's pretty specific. That means that there's a lot of books. Which
Probably,
one specifically does God not want in there?
Specific book? I guess I couldn't answer that specific question. But
That's really weird,
I do
thought
know.
God told you. Thought God told you it was corrupted.
Well, God doesn't speak to you through words, right? He speaks to you through feelings, no?
So God gave you the feeling of that which books were corrupted.
God gave me the feeling that when I interact with things day to day, I know what is right and what is wrong because of my connection to God growing up, going through different religion schools and learning about Jesus and God through my pastors.
So how do you know what his word is, though?
Because I was taught to be able to interpret his word by my pastors,
And where do you interpret his word?
What do you mean specifically where? Like in the
From
bathroom?
Bible?
Oh, I don't interpret it from the Bible. I think that the Bible has been a corrupted piece of, is a corrupted book that men and women have taken advantage of to try to gain more
And God told
dominance.
you that?
Yeah.
Through feelings?
Yeah.
Now, if another person tells you that God told them through feelings that the Bible is 100%.
You know what? Maybe I should say this, okay? Maybe I should just say, like, oh, how do you know you're correct? Because God told me, yeah? Through feelings, yeah? I should say that. I didn't even grow up with a religious background. Maybe I should just say this from now on because I just don't want to have arguments sometimes. And I just want to say, like, yeah, you know what? God told me through feelings.
True. What metric would you use to tell them that they're incorrect?
I would just use force doctrine.
Yeah, so you just control now? That's it.
I mean, listen,
That's the whole thing.
we're being very...
It's so funny here.
I mean, in a way, he's kind of been trolling this entire time, right? Like, I mean, Papa Gut, in a way, he's been trolling this entire time. Like, he probably knows how bad faith Andrew is. He probably knows that Andrew, you should just not end up debating Andrew in the first place. He probably knows this. Again, I'd be surprised if he watches Andrew Wilson. If he watches Andrew Wilson and makes fun of him, then he knows, right? He knows exactly what he's getting into.
Like,
we're being very...
Are you against Destiny something? Well, the issue is that he's actually good faith.
I'm not going to answer these questions, so you're just going to troll, bro.
Well, this is the thing, is I'm not really trolling. I do genuinely believe in God. I also do genuinely believe that there's a lot of aspects of the Bible that are wrong and that are abusive. I believe that...
Then stop trolling and just answer the question.
Well, no, like specifically, like I think that it's okay to be gay and gay marriage is fine. I don't think that there's any...
Yeah, based on what, though? What from...
You give God too much credit. He's just not equipped to have the bad faith convo. That's correct. I never said that he could have that. Yeah. But ultimately, if you're not really a debater, right? If you're not a good debater, then this is kind of the path you have to rely on, right?
A Christian ethic informs you that that's the case.
God. I don't think that the Bible's accurate. I mean, there's people who talk about how it's about you shouldn't be sleeping with children instead of gay people. I guess I can go with that, but like overall, I think it's wrong. I don't think God would ever condemn gay
So
marriage.
which books?
Why do I have to
God
centralize it in a book?
Well, because where else are you getting the word of God?
In here, my heart.
Okay, then if that's the case, if I say in here God tells me being a homosexual is wrong,
yeah,
what's the metric we use to determine that you're correct?
My God is better, right? Isn't that how we've been doing it for a long time? Like Islam versus Christianity?
So
it's two different groups of beliefs.
So there's no way to determine that?
Right here, conversation, right?
We're having the conversation. I believe that homosexuality is a sin. You do not.
So let's talk about
God tells you that. I say, okay, God tells me something different. How do we know you're right and I'm wrong?
We don't. Maybe I'm more godly than you. Yeah.
Okay, so
we'd have to leave it up to a conversation about it. And so far,
but isn't that faith in general? Isn't that faith in general? Is that you just simply believe that you're right and you're just automatically right? I feel like it's just faith in general. So like we just have to believe that I'm more correct than the other person.
A conversation about it.
Has not been
We're literally having a conversation about the thing you say we should be.
Man, I sure love religion, okay? I sure love religious debates or anything pertaining to religion and whether or not you determine to be correct or wrong. All you have to do is just simply say, well, you know, I have belief that I'm correct. And then you're just correct. Dude, face. Guys, why didn't I think of this?
Be talking about.
Yeah, let's talk about why it's wrong to be gay.
Bro, you know what? I'm very jealous of religious people, okay? I'm jealous of religious people because they can just simply say, God told me so. And then it's like, how about I have a source? God told me so in my heart. It's like, okay.
Let's talk about it. What's wrong with being gay?
Yeah, so let's. You say that God tells you that it's okay.
Yeah, and some of the way he tells me is that there's no logical reason to ban gay marriage.
Does God tell you that marrying 3 women is okay?
No, but maybe it should be. I never thought about it. It's not something I've pondered
Does
on
God
and
tell
prayed
you
to
that
God
marrying
about.
2 women is okay?
It's not something I've ever prayed to God about.
So you don't know?
I don't have a strong feeling on these two things. Maybe they should be able to. I don't really know. I don't have a strong feeling and I've never prayed to God about it.
Does God tell you that having sex with 50 women and impregnating them all is okay?
I've never talked to God about that before. I mean, I think it's wrong probably. I mean, if you want to take care of all your kids, yeah, you'd want to be able to be there for all your kids.
What if you can't take care of them? You're really rich.
You can't give...
You're Elon Musk.
It doesn't matter if you're rich. You still can't give them the moral support that they need. I think that every child needs like a father's love or some kind of very strong masculine presence. And without that, then...
I wouldn't even be surprised if Andrew Wilson was actually like an Elon Musk fan. It would just be the least surprising thing. But yeah, I don't know.
You're probably not going to be a very good father, so you shouldn't have 50 kids with 50 women.
Okay, so what about 10 kids with one woman?
I think that might be a little too much for you to raise by yourself. Once you get into the point where you have to have your kids start acting like a parent to your other kids, I think that opens you up for a pretty rough scenario.
So just the outcomes are bad, so you shouldn't do it?
It's kind of, sure. I mean, I think the outcomes
That's
are
my argument against homosexuality. Was there anything else?
Oh, what's outcome is bad by being gay?
Oh, wait. Are you serious?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, let's talk first about the STD rate, shall we?
Let's talk about STDs, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think that the rates of STDs are from homosexuals in comparison to non-homosexuals?
Are we talking about gay men or gay women?
Gay men.
Yeah, they're higher. Men are very
How much higher?
I would say significantly higher. But this is a men issue. It's not a gay issue, right?
Is that because of the hyper amount of promiscuity?
I think that men tend to be more promiscuous, and
well, that's strange. Why would you give them a pass on being more promiscuous, or wouldn't give them a pass on being super promiscuous with women, but you do it with each other? That's weird.
I'm not saying that I have a pass for it. I'm just explaining the behavior. I don't think it's right to have a bunch of random.
I don't think that Papaga should have gone this route specifically. Okay. This STD thing, like, who cares? Okay. Like, we can just say, well, there are risks, but we take these risks because the happiness of the gay people are more important, right? Like, it's more important to be happy, right? For the overall good of society, for people to be able to marry whoever they want, right? And then just to fix and rectify the consequences along the way, right? You shouldn't let the risk of AIDS or the risk of HIV or the risk of, X or Y get in the way of other people being happy, right? Like it shouldn't get in the way. And if you're going to make the argument that, oh yeah, what if that AIDS spreads to other people, including you, right? Well, I mean, better birth control, condoms, abortions, right? But then obviously Andrew Wilson would obviously be anti-abortion, right? So it's like, yeah, but he's not here to have a good faith conversation. Okay, remember that. He's not here to have a good faith conversation. He's here to try to get a gotcha, right? A gotcha on Papa Gut, right? Yeah, there's nothing here that would it's just cringe, very cringe. But
I'm just saying that that's what it is.
Okay, so when homosexuals engage in promiscuous lifestyles, that's wrong.
In general, I'm not a big fan of promiscuous lifestyles, sure, but that's not something that is exclusive to gay people.
Yeah, but is it wrong?
Is it wrong to be promiscuous? I don't know if I would say it's absolutely wrong. I don't think it's right. I mean, I don't have a strong opinion that is absolutely wrong and the worst thing. If you want to do that, you can. That's part of your freedom of speech.
So it's not immoral for them to be. So it's not immoral for them to be promiscuous.
I guess not. I just think
even though the outcomes of the promiscuity lead to STDs, which in the worldview would be wrong. That's insane to me.
Well, we all do have a lot of medication. Basically, yeah, sure. So we have a lot of medication that deals with STD issues. So it's not like that's a huge problem, right?
Oh no, it's a huge problem. I don't know where you got the idea. It's not a huge problem.
I mean, it's only a huge problem if you don't believe in modern medicine, right? Which is an issue that a lot of Republicans have. Like, that's the issue, is that you only have these as big issues if Republicans are dying from things, right? But, maybe they should die. Like, it kind of sucks to say, I guess, but, maybe that's not really a bad thing, actually.
Well, they have treat it. Many of these things are incurable. Like HIV is incurable, for instance.
Well, but the medication that you get makes it virtually non-existent in your system.
And makes you sick for most of your life, and it has all sorts of side effects. And it's it does.
Well, I mean, every medication has a side effect. It doesn't make it wrong.
That's right. You know what? You never have to take medication for an STD. You don't have.
I guess that's true. Sure.
And there seems to be a pretty surefire way to avoid them, isn't there?
Okay, so you're saying that we shouldn't let people be gay because it could lead to outcomes of STDs, and like since
no. I'm saying from your view that's the case. From your view, the case is it is. You said negative outcomes are why you would be against a polygamous marriage, or why you'd be against promiscuous sex.
But me being against promiscuous sex doesn't mean that I'm legislating against it. I can dislike something without making it illegal, without wanting to make it illegal.
You don't have to make legislation based on things you consider immoral. I just want to see if you actually consider them immoral, and you're consistent.
I don't, but you're saying that all gay people are immoral. Well, you're saying that all gay people are immoral just because some of them might be promiscuous.
Yeah, because having sex outside of marriage is immoral.
Okay,
right?
I guess, but I had sex outside of my marriage, so
sure. But that doesn't mean you weren't engaged in something that was immoral, right?
Yeah, but I also don't think I should not be able to marry my wife. So why?
You make a good point there. I concur. Wait, what did I say?
Why is that specifically applied to gay people?
Because
why is it a gay
under
thing
Christian ethics, homosexuals?
Well, yeah, but you're saying that it's wrong. Some gay people.
There's not a good faith conversation. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. It's definitely not a good faith conversation. But it's just that this is just. But I think Papa Gut knows that, and I think Papa Gut's audience also knows that. Like they're going in there with the. I agree exactly. What point are you guys agreeing? I'm so confused.
Have more sex and get more STDs. That means all gay people should.
No, that's your view. Negative outcome equals wrong.
I think that's a very simplified version of it. I think that thinking that something
more complex version.
Shut up, nerd.
Being wrong doesn't mean that I think it's so wrong it needs to be non-existent. I mean, you can make arguments that being sexually promiscuous can help you figure out.
Well, I don't understand. Why would society be worse off if there was less gay promiscuous sex? Exactly.
Jesus.
Why do you think it would be better off if there was less promiscuous sex?
Because there would be a huge, rampant decline in STDs and cross-contamination from bisexuals.
Also, let's not pretend a lot of Republicans aren't like closeted homosexuals, because it's very clear that they're like closeted homosexuals, right? Like there are some of the most closeted homosexuals I have ever perceived. All right, like they're like, dude, if Grindr is crashing, if Grindr is crashing at Republican conventions, I think it's time to re-examine some things. Okay, I feel like the number one like gay meetup hotspot thing is at like a fucking Orthodox church. Okay, like
who move these STDs over from homosexual communities into the heterosexual community, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's an easy one to point at.
Do you think that there are
another
any
one
positives?
is that,
Hold on. Do you think that there are any
another one is
positives?
gay adoption. That's a bad idea too.
But why is it a bad idea? There seems to be very high rates of success with gay adoptions, and in fact, gay people tend to adopt more than straight people, which
Because
lends,
every-
hold on,
yeah.
which lends to the idea that gay
dude, 100% Andrew Wilson's gonna bring up how kids are their gay parents or some shit. But I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure like kids generally do better because a lot of parents who adopt are wealthy. This includes gay parents, right? Because adopting is very expensive. Is Andrew Catholic? He's Orthodox, I think. But yeah, it's just so stupid. Whatever, man.
gay people tend to raise other people's kids rather than their own, which means that they take resources and dump them into either their nieces or nephews or some kind of an adoptive kid. So wouldn't that be a positive? Isn't it better?
Do you know what the rate is for newborns being adopted when they're put up for adoption?
No, I don't know what I said.
It's 100%.
Oh,
that you guys
newborns,
are
sure. But what about
saying.
kids that aren't newborns? What
Or
about like teenagers
epic.
that need like loving
Yeah,
homes?
so you want to take kids
Yeah.
who generally are coming from broken environments,
Sure.
broken homes, all right, where often there's rates of abuse and various things like that, which
Sure.
is why they're put up in the system. And you want to put them in the hands of homosexual men who've often themselves experienced significant abuse.
I don't know if I would say they often have. Or like, what's the
Often.
percentage? What's the percentage?
Much higher than the general population.
Interesting. Do you think that that's because they're gay and isolated in society that hates them, and so they get looked at as like, oh, this easy to
Regardless of why the social stigma
Well, no,
exists.
but you can't say that.
Hang on,
You can't say regardless of why.
Regardless of why the social stigma exists, it is the case that they have much higher rates
You're gonna be
of
so
being
mad I
abused than the
missed
general
it.
population.
What?
That's
Sexual
true.
abuse, and then
Right.
you're gonna put young boys in their care, right? That seems foolish to me. Yes.
Why? You think that? So I just want to be very clear. You think that
Maybe it's the oppression, not the expression, but I didn't say that. Did podcast say that?
most gay people were sexually abused?
I don't know if it's most.
Okay,
but
so
it's much higher than
disproportionately.
the
So let's say
general
the general population is like 0.5%, and 3 times more gay people are abused. So 1.5% of gay people.
Yeah,
are
any
abused.
more than I would want
Oh, careful. Andrew Wilson doesn't like numbers.
Okay.
to put children in the
It's
hands
gay.
of promiscuous couples.
It's very
couples.
Why
unmanly.
are all
Has
gay
been
people
yapping?
promiscuous? Though?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's not all. I don't monolithically say things like this.
Well,
But
that's the
most. In that
insinuation
case, it
you're
is
making.
most.
Why most?
I mean, you kind of do, right? You do actually monolithically say things like this, don't you?
Because that's what data shows. Even
Data
including
shows that
when they're
most
married.
gay men are
Yep.
promiscuous.
Even inside of marriage.
So
almost
let's
all
just
of them have
say-
an open. Stop, bro. Let me finish.
Sure, let me let you
Almost
finish.
all
Sorry.
of them, even in marriage,
Yeah.
have open relationships.
Most gay men have open relationships. That's
in
true.
marriage, yep.
Wow,
That's true.
Where'd you get that from? I've never heard that before in my life.
You haven't, huh? Have you ever looked?
No. Well, no,
No.
I guess I haven't. I guess
No.
I could look.
I
it up.
guess you
You're
have.
saying
I guess you haven't. Look
You're
it up.
saying most gay men, most gay men are engaging in open relationships.
That's correct. Even in marriage.
Okay,
Most of them do.
so most married gay men. Okay, do most
Wait, so, like, are they cheating or like what is going on here? What the fuck?
married gay men have an open relationship. Where'd you hear this before? I'm just curious.
I don't.
I'll send you the studies if you like
Yeah.
when we're done.
So
What
what about
the
gay women?
fuck?
Because I'm seeing here it says from what this is AI overview. I have to look deeper.
Okay, insert the gay woman domestic abuse memes. Okay, we have to run through all the memes. We have to run through all the memes. Okay, all right, we have to run through all the memes, just like how I ran through your mother last night.
But it says 30 to 50%, which is rather high. I don't know that would necessarily create a dysfunctional structure just because if they kept that to themselves. But like, so if the research says that gay women don't have the same issue, well, what if we banned gay marriage, like gay male marriage or gay male?
Look at the domestic abuse rates of lesbians.
Oh, they're higher.
Oh, way higher.
So you're saying
What did I say? Like, what did I say? What did I say? What did I say? What did I say?
that because
Because it's
lesbians?
almost like when you take
Pre-washed.
mommy
Yeah, take
and
mommy.
daddy, you take the male and female. Like,
Yeah.
for instance, don't you agree that children deserve to have both masculine and feminine in their life
Absolutely, yeah.
from their mom and their dad?
I think from any masculine and
Well, like, I mean, dude, I'm gonna just say some women are masculine, and sometimes the men are they're not wearing the pants in the relationship. Okay, the women are typically more emotionally mature. Okay. And the men are like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know I had to do that in a relationship. Like, someone is more masculine here than you. Okay.
feminine structure is a good
And
idea.
are
Listen closely, young Padawan.
homosexual men taking enough of these adopted children that they would not be adopted by heterosexual couples? The answer is no. They
Well,
have
it
to wait in
seems like-
line. They have to
okay.
wait in line, and we could give them that normalcy, and instead we don't. We put them in, generally speaking, relationships with very high risk people.
High risk. Why? Because they're
The abuse of lesbians is committed by their previous male partners. Is that true? Is that where the number comes from?
there is a potential that they have more open relationships and the potential that they were abused more as kids.
It's not just a potential. It's an overwhelming
Is what the
potential.
data shows?
Overall, so most. Just again, I
Oh.
want to reiterate. Most.
Can you
gay
link it to
people
me
were
on
abused as
Discord,
kids, what you're saying.
please?
I don't know if most were abused as kids, but most are in open relationships.
Well,
yeah.
that's probably a
One
little
you're
different. Because what you're
reading from?
insinuating when you're saying like, hey, a gay person was abused as a kid, it sounds like you're insinuating that they would make a bad parent.
If you have a child in your house, do you think
Yeah.
bringing a bunch of strange men into your house all the time is a good idea or a fucking bad idea?
Well, I don't think that's how open relationships would work, right? They wouldn't just bring a bunch
Well,
of men.
except that's
It's like-
exactly how they work.
Well, that's not
And
really
when you
good,
look at the step parent scenarios,
Bro, why are you hearing this from the Andrew Wilson side where he almost pimped out his daughter to a groiper? No, he pretty much did. He pretty much married, he pretty much like hooked up his 17-year-old daughter with a groiper who was like 26 or 24 or some shit. Like, dude, why are we, dude, oh my God.
Same thing. The rates of abuse of
Wait,
children.
why do you think that's how it works?
The rates of abuse for children generally happen when you have men who are not the biological father coming into the home. That's where the most rampant rates of abuse of children happen. So you're saying that we non-biological father in the home.
Okay, so you're saying we should have no adoption?
No, I'm not saying no adoption.
But what about a straight couple that's not a biological father?
Because if you have a straight couple, they're not in an open relationship. They're in a stable relationship. They don't have a bunch of strange men coming into their home.
So if they are in an open relationship, you shouldn't be able to adopt if you're in an open relationship, whether you're gay or straight.
Fuck no, you should be able to adopt if you're in an open relationship. That's insane.
Okay, gotcha.
That's crazy.
But in the instance of
in my Andrew Wilson preferred
but
society,
in the instance of
why would I let a ton of fucking open?
And this is like the performative moralizing that he does too. That is so insufferable, dude. Once you get used to Andrew Wilson, you'll understand like where he's like going with everything. He's so cringe and so performative and so fake. He's like one of the fakest motherfuckers out there, dude.
Relationship sickos adopt children. Why? Tell me why that's a good idea.
I don't know,
Say, Andrew, that's a good idea because why?
Andrew, that's not a good idea. I agree with you. But what you're saying is that when it comes to gay, when you're saying that gay couples should all be excluded from adoption because they might be in an open relationship, but straight couples should not be excluded.
Well, no. From my grounding view, right? Gay people should be excluded.
I hate that and keep falling asleep randomly as I'm eating my pasta. Sorry, it's my voice. My bad.
Excluded from adoption for first and foremost due to the religious tenets.
Yeah, just being gay.
I've been told that my voice puts people to sleep. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
No, it's not just being gay. It's because it gets the religious tenets of my foundational morality.
Yeah.
You don't have any foundational morality. You believe in God, but have no threshold breaker for if it is the case that I say I also believe in God. He tells me it's wrong. Why am I wrong?
You don't think a strong feeling is enough for me to make that part of my foundation?
As long as you say that me having a strong feeling is just as good.
Well, isn't the Bible full of?
Hang on. Answer my question first. Are you saying that me having a strong feeling that homosexuals shouldn't adopt kids is just as good as your strong feeling they should?
I think it's strong enough of a feeling for us to have a conversation about it in a democracy.
Answer my fucking question.
I just answered the question.
No, you didn't. You said it's a strong enough feeling for us to have a conversation.
Yes.
Is it? Is that the fucking question I asked? What's the question I asked?
Well, that's the answer I'm giving you. You're saying
is your question I asked. It's like this. I go, hey, is that a dog? And you go, the sky is blue.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about? It has nothing to do with the question I asked.
Is it the case that I don't. Okay, what is a Californian accent in the first place? Does that even exist? How do you tell an Ohioan from a Californian accent person? Like, I don't know, dude. How's it?
You have a strong enough intuition, and I have a strong enough intuition that you're right and I'm wrong.
It's a strong enough of a case for us to have a conversation about.
New York versus Cali accent girl. Yeah, but do I even have a Cali? Oh my god, I'm being baited.
Hello, Kazakhstan. So in upstate, it is really hot right now. In upstate New York. All right, so I'm Miriam.
I'm Barry. Hi.
What's this?
An orange.
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 New York, California. Orange.
Orange.
Good job.
You can hardly tell. Yeah, you can hardly tell. You can hardly tell, dude. What? You can hardly tell. You don't even know. Oh, is it just the fucking vocal fry? Is it just like me going like is it that sound?
Yeah, but what would make you
link it? Okay, not only do you have to link it, but you have to link the timestamp.
Right.
Okay, because I won't know what you're talking about.
What the fuck are you talking about? What would
talking about the entire foundation of our society?
Yeah, what would make your position moral and mine immoral? What?
We have to have a conversation about it. I mean, we have to lay out the facts. I think you're a very fact.
We are
having
a conversation about it. We're having a why do you
keep telling me
that we need to have a conversation about a thing we're having a conversation about?
Well, because you're asking me a question.
If you have a strong intuition that this thing is fine, and I have a strong intuition that it's not, what the fuck makes you right and me wrong?
Well, we have to talk about it.
So you're just going to troll again?
So just to be clear, Andrew, I'm not trolling. That's my answer, and you don't.
We're just going to be okay. All right.
I'm sorry that you don't appreciate the answers I'm giving you. I'm being honest. I'm not looking to do like a weird debate thing. I'm just being honest.
Okay, that's fine. We just need to have a conversation about it.
Yeah, I mean.
This is dude. This is like such. This is the most anti-God. It's like it's like somebody who just spent 20 weeks in a fucking summer debate camp going, now that you send them to go and interact with like a normal fucking human being, and then they just act like in the most weirdest way. Yeah, we are having a conversation actually. Like, what? Okay.
That's what we've been doing for the entirety of our societies, having conversations and then moving forward and changing.
You're right. We should have a conversation about if society should have conversations.
I think that's beautiful. Yeah, I like that.
Let's have a conversation.
I think that's exactly
what I said.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So anyway, that's how our entire foundation of our society has been structured, right? I mean, we were constantly having conversations.
I'm not sure. I think we need to have a conversation about that.
Okay. When do you want to have that conversation?
I mean, I thought we were going to, but
it's the subtle huffing of your own farts of the Bay Area voice. What the fuck are you talking about? What are you on about? Like, What do you mean?
Maybe we should have a
That's so
conversation about when we can
mean.
have a conversation about things.
Maybe we should take it a step further and have a conversation
Yeah, and
about
can we have a conversation about having conversations about conversations?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. We
I
can take it
don't
even a step
know.
further.
See, I thought during a conversation, instead of saying we
Jeez.
should have a conversation about the thing we're having a conversation about, you would actually answer the fucking questions I'm asking you.
Well, you don't think that it's an acceptable answer to say, like, hey, listen, there's two people or two groups of people with a difference in opinion. Maybe we should get together and create a structure where you could talk about it.
Bro, there are channels. There are channels out there that are like, look how Andrew carefully, meticulously slaughters this poor little lamb and destroys him with facts and logic. There are channels like that are so cringe. That fucking so cringe and glaze the fuck out of Andrew Wilson. Oh my god, it's so cringe. It's so stupid.
You could vote about it and you could do advocation for or against it.
That has nothing to do with my question.
But that
My
is the entire question. That's
If
the answer to the question.
you have a strong moral intuition,
Yeah.
Wish I was getting gassed by chat. Maybe I am getting gaslit. I don't know. I don't know anymore. Who knows?
something's fine.
Yeah.
And I have a strong moral intuition, then it's not.
Yeah.
What makes your moral intuition superior to my own? What?
I'm hungry.
I would think that I'm right. So in my subjective view, I would think that I'm right. Or in my objective view of God, I think I'm right.
Maybe.
So then since you have a difference of opinion, we would talk about it and then we would vote.
So by
legislate,
that same
advocate.
metric, then
Yeah.
isn't it the case that from my subjective view, I'm right? From my subjective view of God, I'm right.
Yeah.
So the threshold breaker, you can't actually tell me that anything I'm saying right now is actually immoral, can you?
I can say it. I just don't like. I can say it. Yes, I can say it, and I have. And I'm grounded in my.
Well, but it's just that from his opinion, like his opinion is right? Like, because by definition, yeah, he thinks that his opinion is right because by the very definition that's his opinion, right? I don't fucking know. This is so stupid. I don't fucking know, dude.
My God, and you're grounded in your God, and so
So
now
you're the ultimate arbiter of morality, right?
Are you the ultimate arbiter of morality?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So then we're both having
So are
conversations
you?
about it. I guess so.
Or are
By
you?
whatever definition that you make
Yeah.
it. Sure, I
So
guess.
you're the ultimate arbiter of morality.
I would say not all morality, just like my morality.
Well, which
I think.
morality are you not the ultimate arbiter of?
Well, we would have a conversation about morality, right?
I know we're having a conversation about morality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So are you the ultimate arbiter of morality or not?
I guess so. I guess if that's the way that you're defining it, sure.
So then by that metric, I also would be the ultimate arbiter of morality. And so
Okay.
and around we go. All you've done.
So then how do we get to a conclusion?
Well, that's really a great question.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a thing called force doctrine?
So you're saying whoever's stronger than the other person should be able to win? Is that what you're saying?
Well, hang on. Isn't it logical from your perspective?
This is so retarded. Why am I even watching this? Why am I even watching this? It's so stupid. It's like we should determine who is right by people doing duels with one another and killing each other. I just like what I don't understand.
If you just get done saying to me that you're the ultimate arbiter of morality, and so therefore you can't say that I'm not the ultimate arbiter of morality from my view. I'm just as justified in that as you.
Okay.
For the threshold breaker to only be force, what else could it be?
Well, what's the force manifest in? Like a conversation, or does it manifest in pistols at dawn?
Well, I mean, it generally manifests in violence.
Okay. What kind of violence? Because I think I could win a fist fight. I don't think I could win a pistol fight personally.
Well,
I don't why does this have to be the line that we draw? Like why? Surely there's a better way than to kill each other. Surely there's a way that in which we can all come to compromise and love each other and appreciate each other, right?
The violence can be produced by the state.
Okay.
The violence can be produced by police. It can be produced by military forces.
But then
don't we create any number of different things?
Right, but don't we create the rules that the police enforce based on voting, conversations?
Yeah, all those pesky laws that are informed by morals.
Yeah, morals, conversations. But since it's legal to get gay married right now, you would disagree with it.
It's an institution of worldview. This is what I've been trying to show you the whole time. Now that you understand how your worldview is reduced, the institution of your enforcing it. So what are you prepared to have the state do to assure that homosexuals can get married?
I guess if they... So what, give me a scenario. Like, let's say somebody wouldn't marry two gay people. Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah.
Well, we would have a religious exemption for people who are religious to not have to do the
No,
marrying.
the state says we're not going to do it.
Oh, okay. I guess they'd have to follow the law and they would have to...
No. Not that the federal government says the state has to comply.
Yeah, right. So then you'd have to do some kind of force, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And you're for that, right?
In that instance, sure. But that's a very exaggerated instance,
So
right?
as long as it's the case, no, it's not exaggerated. Because there was a woman who did this. There was a woman who was a department official who said that she would not sign off on gay marriage, and she was arrested. That's a use of force to institute your worldview, right?
Well, right. But generally speaking, we would start at the, hey, you have to do this. And then if you didn't listen to that after
Right.
everybody voted...
You have to follow my
Hold on. In this example, we as a society got together and decided that gay marriage was okay and acceptable, right? We all live in that societal structure. And if you don't listen to that, yes, you will be punished in some capacity.
We did not do that, no.
But we did do that. Yes, we did. That's why marriage was made legal. Yeah.
No, every place that it was voted on basically voted it out. It was a Supreme Court ruling. Yeah.
Okay.
Especially including California.
I'll take your word for it.
When it came up as a proposition in California, they said no.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, we as a society never got to vote. Did you ever get to vote on gay marriage?
Well, no, I was too young to vote on gay marriage. I think I was 16 or 17.
No, we didn't get to vote on shit. So the thing is like...
Wait, but can't you vote for people who support something, and so therefore you are in a way indirectly voting for shit? Isn't that why people run campaign trails? Or why am I even trying to explain this? You guys already know. Like, this is not something that's like, this shouldn't be controversial. It's just like so stupid. Guys, you guys know what I'm saying, right? Like, there's politicians that have a fucking collection of policies that they want to implement, and you vote based off of, why am I explaining? I should be explaining this anyway. Whatever, it doesn't even, I don't care anymore. Okay, it's so stupid. I did like, this is so fucking brain dead. Like, this stuff is brain dead. Okay, the first doctrine is more aligned with Christian theology, not theocracy. Okay, I see. Not that Andrew cares about anything. He just doesn't care about anything. He's a grifter.
That aside, you're willing to institute and utilize force to implement your worldview.
Well, so
if you're the ultimate arbiter, hang on. So if you're the ultimate arbiter of morality, which you claim you are,
yes,
and you're willing to utilize force in order to institute your worldview, what possible leg do you have to stand on to say that I can't?
I guess I don't. But just to be
I
clear,
guess you
so
don't.
what you're saying is that instead what actually happened is that like the Supreme Court found it unconstitutional to not allow gay people to get married because of separation of church and state in our society.
No, they ruled it based on a amendment that had nothing to do with homosexuality.
So it had nothing to do with the separation of church and state that our country was founded on, or
no?
Oh, so what's the point?
Not
of
really.
Separation? Not really, or not at all?
Not really. No. I mean, maybe there's
Nothing.
some grain of that.
Agreed.
Maybe there's some grain of secularism which is introduced there, but really,
We've always had a separation of church and state that guides us.
No, we haven't always had a separation of church and state.
When did we start that?
I think that the last state dropped its state religion in like the late 1800s.
But then weren't we founded on separation of church and state?
No.
Also, I think we were both born after the late 1800s, so we have a country that.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I think it was early 1900s. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh well, that changes everything. We were both alive back then, so of course that changes everything.
But do you understand the statement? We were founded by blank, and then but for 200 years it wasn't like that.
So I got hit with religious propaganda. Secular propaganda in my school to think that we were founded on separation of church and state.
Yeah, you want to prove it?
I guess so. I mean, I'm genuinely curious. Yeah, like I never knew that.
Before the Constitution, do you know what the law of the land was in the United States?
No.
The Articles of Confederation.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, and they sucked.
What I'm looking at is the principles. The separation of church and state is in the First Amendment.
That's nice. Have you ever heard of the Articles of Confederation?
No. Why don't you explain? What does that have to do with America? Like separation of church and state.
Because that was what. Hang on. Before we had a constitution, we had a Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
So what we did was we implemented what were called the Articles of Confederation first.
Okay.
That granted each individual state basically their own fiefdom, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
The Articles of Constitution made each of the states their own nation.
Gotcha.
And it didn't work because they could not regulate commerce, money, and military. They couldn't regulate it well.
Okay.
The states were terrified of federal power, and the feds had to compromise with them. And so part of the compromise for these various states are where we get our amendments from. The Second Amendment, for instance, is one of those compromises. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The First Amendment is also one of those compromises. Now, when you say the secular nation under the First Amendment, you're forgetting about the 10th Amendment. And the 10th Amendment says that all powers which are not the federal government's go to the prospective states instead. The prospective states.
It is 2 steps from promoting slavery again. But Andrew actually believes in slavery. Like, he unironically believes in it. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure I've seen it before where he legitimately thinks slavery is fine.
I think 9 out of 13 of them had a state religion. Post-Constitution ratification. Post-Constitution ratification for like 100 years.
Yeah.
They had their own state religions.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is like, no, when you say secular, that's not actually accurate.
Yeah.
The secular nature was only from the federal government to the states, not from the state ruling body to its people.
Okay. But just to be explicitly clear, separation of church and state is in the First Amendment, which would supersede any individual state.
No. What's the 10th Amendment say?
Well, the 10th Amendment says any power is not explicitly delegated, but if it's in the First Amendment.
And it's not explicitly delegated.
But it would be explicitly.
No, it's not. What the First Amendment says is that the United States cannot make a single religion, okay, that everybody has to follow. That's what it says.
Yeah, that's the separation of church and state.
And it's not doing that. But the 10th Amendment allows for each prospective state to fucking do that. And that's how it was set up.
Okay, but either way, the first.
His wife is a fucking slave. It's really sad, but I kid you not, his wife, when she is out there debating, she literally argues for her own inferiority. It's so pathetic and sad. Like, she literally argues for her own inferiority in comparison to men. Look, it's cringe, okay? It's super cringe.
The amendment would supersede that, specifically in the instance
No,
that
because
you were.
it's
But
a
hold on, let me explain. I let you talk.
Okay, go ahead.
The First Amendment is freedom of religion, right? That's part of the First Amendment. That is a separation of church and state. 10th Amendment. Why?
Because the First Amendment is saying that the federal government can't make a Catholic religion that everyone has to follow.
Uncle Deborah?
Do we agree on that?
Well, no. So just to be
term?
absolutely clear, I just want to be. I'm trying to understand. Maybe I'm wrong about something. You're saying, like, I'm looking. Freedom of religion is in the First Amendment, right? Freedom of religion. So you have the ability to engage in your own
for
religion
cis
and not be forced
hetero
upon another person's
woman.
religion, right?
What?
Then you're saying the 10th Amendment, there were states that individually had their own religious structures. That wasn't okay. So I interpret that as going against the First Amendment.
Well, then how come they had them post-constitutional ratification for 100 years?
Because it wasn't enforced as well as it should have been.
Okay. Yeah. Because, or could it be that there was a compromise which was made based on the historical standard of the Articles of Confederation when they were negotiating with the states, and any idiot can look this up in 5 seconds?
Yeah, but wouldn't this be an instance of like, hey, we're going to create a separation of church and state, but we'll let you guys to some degree violate that as you do a transitional structure because you all are whatever denomination of Catholicism you are at the time, and then eventually that goes away as people. Yeah, that's how the transitional. That's what the historical context would be. There would be a transitional
structure.
First of
all, there's a bunch of problems that you have here. The first is that the Constitution was ratified with the states already having their intact religions. They did not have to get rid of them. It was not a violation of the First Amendment at all. Not even a little bit. In fact, you had to swear in order to vote, oftentimes, for that you were a part of that religion, and that was totally legal. And the states couldn't say anything. What the compromise was that the federal government couldn't go in and tell these various Protestant states.
That's what Andrew's wife watches before going online and talking about how inferior she is. Yeah, exactly. Sissy hypno for cis hetero woman.
They had to be a single denomination.
I don't know.
That was always how it was understood as a compromise.
Well, but it's not.
I feel like his wife should not debate at all. Well, multiple people pointed that out to Andrew. People have pointed it out to Andrew that his wife shouldn't debate. Like, his wife should just stay at home and take care of the kids. 5 kids they have. But she still does it anyway, because why? Because they're grifters, because they're hypocrites. They love money. But
Yeah.
No, stop. I'm telling
I'm
you.
letting you keep going. Go ahead.
How it was interpreted originally by the framers and the negotiators of the various governorships of the states was that the federal government could not tell a Catholic state that they had now to be a Protestant state, or a Protestant state now that they had to be a Catholic state. Not that those individual states could not implement their own religions under the 10th Amendment, because that was expressly under their purview.
Yeah. Do you think that it's more likely that they separated church and state and they didn't have the power to force this onto all the other states, so they let them do what they did?
The power.
The federal government, which is a collection of different state governments that all want to have their own individual state.
Yeah, they had the power to do it. Yes.
How? But isn't the federal government a collection of
they could have compromised. They could have made that part of their compromise at the federalization of the nation.
So you're saying we have no separation of church and state even today?
At the individual state level, we shouldn't. No, we're not supposed to.
So you're saying that's individual? We're not supposed to, or it wasn't like that?
We're not supposed to? You mean, if we're not supposed to, why did it change in the first place, right? You're already acknowledging that there's somebody out there who disagrees with you, and they had enough political willpower to make that change. Well, why was that change made? Why was that change made? We should, or we shouldn't. Okay, according to whose worldview? Why? Why is that your worldview? Did your God tell you that? Did God tell you that it's okay?
We're not supposed
You're saying that because the state used to have a established religion and now they don't, we should force it to go back to having an established religion?
I didn't say force it to go back to anything. I'm just saying that should be
it seems like they consented to removing the
that
established
would be an
religion of the state.
option for them.
They could, but they wouldn't, because it's against the First Amendment. And then we're at a point
No,
now
it's
where
not against the First Amendment, dude. That's where you keep on running against it.
Okay, well, I think you should advocate for that and vote for that and try to see if you can
I
get the
do.
state to
I
do
do
it.
advocate for that all the time.
I think
What are you talking
that's
about?
a beautiful thing. Okay. So anyway, we have a situation where we
He advocates for the most non-serious shit ever, dude. Then
don't have any state religions. We do have a separation of church and state at this point in our history based on the context. And so
we
that's
don't.
why,
Oh my
yeah, we do.
God.
And that's
We have
why,
the 10th Amendment, dude.
and that's why we allow, the 10th Amendment, we have no individual state has an established religion.
Let me
So
tell
the
you
10th Amendment,
something.
hold on.
Why is it? Yeah, go ahead.
We have the 10th Amendment doesn't really matter because no state has an individual religion. So if none of them has a specific religion that they're arguing for, we all are going to fall under the separation of church and state. And so that's why gay marriage is
So
allowed.
all you're doing is giving more power to the federal government. For instance, why can't states outlaw gay marriage if they want to?
I guess it would be against the federal government's establishment of separation of
All
church
you're
and state.
doing, all you're doing is giving more power.
So now
to the federal government over and over and over.
So
and
your
over
argument
again,
now,
even though that was never what the part of the compromise was ever.
So now your issue more than anything else is you're afraid of giving the federal government too much power.
No, there's other moral arguments I can make too. And here's a great moral argument for you.
I'm ready.
If you had 2 twin brothers and they were in an incestuous relationship, tell me why that's immoral.
Well, they're twin brothers. They probably, I would say that more likely than not, the reason that they are incestuous is because of some kind of inappropriate relationship happening.
There's no inappropriate.
There would most likely be an inappropriate relationship.
But most likely doesn't mean has to be. So
that's true.
In this case, there's not. So what's wrong with it?
Well, in most instances,
why can't they go get married?
Well, because they're gay. Gay people shouldn't be able to get married, right?
Can you answer my question?
Let me establish what I'm saying, and then we can be more specific. Okay, so let's start out with the general reason. I think it's extraordinarily unlikely, and I know that we're going to get into a specific scenario, but I think it's extraordinarily unlikely that 2 young people, in this instance, 2 twins, would have some kind of romantic and sexual relationship without there being some kind of an issue with their upbringing that would force them to do so. I would say most people, there's like some kind of a biological attunement to not be attracted to your own family. It sounds like there was grooming involved, and so that's
so what? Answer the question now, please.
I thought that we have a situation. I thought you were a fan of nuance. I'm sorry. I just wanted to explain that position. So
Here, I'll still be in your position. In most cases, I don't think that would happen. That's nice. So anyway, to the case I'm talking about, though.
So in this specific case, 2 brothers, they want to fuck each other.
Well, not just that, they want to get married.
Yeah, they probably shouldn't be able to get married because they're siblings.
Why?
I think we should have a pretty strong, affirmation against family members getting married because it's bad. Because in most instances, because it's bad. Because in most instances,
it's bad.
Because in most instances, there's going to be grooming involved into the situation.
Yeah, but what about the instances where there's not?
Unfortunately, in a large society of like 330 million people.
I'm so tired of gay, trans, whatever people being attacked. They exist and ain't going anywhere. It's fucking insane. Well, if it's any like condolences or anything good, right? Like today is a better time to be gay than any time in history. Okay, there's no such thing as a time in history before this period of history where it is better to be gay than right now. Okay, things are improving. Okay, and even though Trump is like around right now and people will die in large numbers in gas chambers, I think that it still doesn't change the fact that right now is still the best time to be gay, trans, and whatever the fuck it is than 50 years ago and all the time before that. In all of human history, 30,000 years. Rome, not true. Gay people, it's a misconception that gay people had privileges or anything like that in Rome, because the one emperor who had like a femboy person, that person was a sex slave, and typically gay men are beaten with clubs in the Roman military. Okay, so that is a misconception. Okay, and so is Greece. Greece is also like that. Yeah.
Well, we can't always legislate in favor of everybody.
The outlier.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Can't legislate. So how many? So gays are 2% of the population. Why are we fucking legislating for the outlier there?
there's no legislation against straight marriages if you legislate for gay marriages.
If your entire argument is that we should have some sort of institutional integrity when it comes to marriage, I can make the same exact argument for gay marriage.
Why? You don't lose anything. I don't understand how that's the
You don't lose anything by two brothers getting married either.
Well, no, you create an
Roman men were allowed to have sex with their slaves. Okay, I think the key word is slaves here. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. All right, like I that's not exactly consenting, is it? Like
opportunity for there to be more grooming and incest when it comes to people's relationships by
I'm not sure if it's
civil marriage.
Well, if that's
they had more gay rights back then because you could be a gay slave master.
Case, and you're just saying that that's the case because it's more likely that it's more likely with gays too.
Significantly more likely.
Significantly more likely with gays too. Yes,
what's more likely that they're gonna abuse children? It's more likely that gay people abuse children.
Gay men, yeah.
Gay men specifically. So gay women, we should be able to let them get married, but not gay men.
Well, then no, they abuse children on average more too. Yeah.
Do they? Okay, interesting. Do you think that we should outlie men because they typically murder more or rape more?
That would be where your argument would go, huh?
No, it's not. That's where your argument's going.
No, you
just said because gay people. Hold on. You talk. Wait. Hold on. Let me just paraphrase. You just said that you don't think gay people should get married or be able to have kids or whatever or in their household because they're more likely to be abusive. And I'm saying
that's an entailment of your worldview.
That's what you said. And I'm saying men are more likely to rape. So by that logic, we should just castrate all men.
You're making my argument.
No, I'm not making your argument. This is what your argument is that you don't think gay people should be able to get married because you think that they're going to be more abusive in their relationships.
Let's try this. I'll answer yes or no to each question that you have.
I don't want to do that because I think that's kind of lame.
No, I'm not going to answer your fucking questions.
Well, no, I think we should answer each other's questions. We should explain our positions because it seems like you want to hide behind this.
Let me walk through your logic here. Why shouldn't two gay brothers be able to get married?
Because I don't like gay people getting married.
So back to trolling.
I think that you're putting me into a situation where you're trying to be intentionally unreasonable. And
that's nice. Can you answer my question? Why not?
Well, I did answer the question. I think in the overwhelming...
If I can show you cases of non-reproductive incest and them petitioning to get married, that's no longer unrealistic, right?
I think that in the overwhelming majority of situations when it comes to any type of incest, some kind of grooming is going to be involved, even if it's going to be two twins because their parents didn't stop that, right? And so allowing them to get married...
But in a case where that's not present...
Hold on. You can't legislate. There might be people who drunk drive better than they don't drive. They might drunk drive better than sober drive, but we can't say they're allowed to drunk drive, right? There's instances where there are extreme instances where some things might be okay, but generally speaking, we're a society of 330 million people. We have to legislate for the masses.
So let me help you out.
Yeah. So I don't think I need any help.
But you don't want to normalize.
Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember the Vosh Andrew Wilson debate? It's just Vosh having a great time and Andrew Wilson mauling and going through 20 cigarettes. It's so fucking funny, dude. Because Andrew Wilson was trying to pull the shtick, but Vosh is actually a talented debater. Vosh is actually a talented debater. It's just too bad that he is now on that, like, oh, I'm just gonna be quiet now, like, type shit. But also fuck Vosh.
It's a bad thing.
Yeah.
What you haven't established though that it's bad. So
I did it, but so do you think it's?
No, hang on. Okay, you agree with me that heterosexual people can be groomed?
Can be groomed, sure. Heterosexuals can be groomed,
and are
some of them, sure, yeah.
So and that they can suffer from extreme abuse,
sure, yeah.
Would you legislate that heterosexuals who have suffered from abuse and have been groomed ought not?
Super lazy though, yeah, but he seems happy. Whatever, he's a jolly fat, not so fat anymore. He's been improving a lot. Jolly old Santa person who blames the Democrats and fuck him for blaming Democrats. But whatever. The resistance is not perfect, okay?
Not be able to get married?
No.
Then why would you do that for two twin brothers, even though the situation is parallel?
Because there is in the majority of situations, this situation is not parallel. In the majority of situations, an incestual relationship is going to come from some kind of abuse, like grooming abuse.
But in cases where it doesn't, why shouldn't they be able to get married?
But you can't legislate on hyperspecifics. And
yes, you can.
Not really.
Yes, really.
Okay. Could I have an example? I'm a little curious.
Oh, you have to be 18 years old to have sex with an adult. That's pretty hyper fucking specific.
Wait, sorry. Okay. So you're saying there's a world where 17-year-olds could like date like an adult?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's hyper specific.
Oh, what kind of adult, right? Oh no, guys. I think when he talks about adult, I think he means like a 35-year-old.
Specific to me. Maybe that's true, but we don't know that, so we make the same 18. You just strengthened my argument.
How?
Because you're saying that there is a world where 17-year-old minors can marry adults and be okay. My position is that's not possible. Hold on. In my opinion, that's not true. But even if it was, it would be such a hyper-specific small amount of people that it's not worth making a mass legislation on.
Oh, we do. We make hyper-specific legislation
about to be absolutely clear, your example disagreed with you.
No, it doesn't disagree with me.
It did.
No, it doesn't. Why couldn't you make hyper-specific legislation that said, okay, sure, twin brothers can't get married usually?
So you think that are you saying
investigated and there's no grooming?
Are you saying that there should be like a consent test for 17-year-olds to see if they can marry adults? Is that what your position is?
What the fuck?
Yeah, it sucks that Vosh is like just legitimately retarded because no, he's not retarded. He's just he's audience captured by his own lefty audience. It's very cringe. Like Vosh essentially has a cult. I wouldn't stray too far from that. And if he really wants to be alone forever, then fine, let him be alone forever. Whatever, man. Like why should I care about him being alone forever?
It's nothing to do with what I'm asking you. So back to
this. You brought up 17-year-olds being able to get married to adults.
No, I'm saying that
you did.
Inside of a hypothetical of a specific
echo chamber Foodshops. Yeah. Do we have an echo chamber? I think we do. I think it's impossible to not have an echo chamber, but at the same time, you can take steps to get out of your bubble. Like I have call-ins, right? And people can challenge me whenever the fuck they like, whatever, man.
Legislation, they could, sure.
Yeah, how would
Not
you?
that
So
I'm
how would you make that distinction? Like in this instance, there's a 17-year-old.
Look at their fucking ID and say, how old are they? What do you mean? What
Well,
are
no,
you
you're saying
talking
a 17-year-old. Oh, okay, sorry. What I think you're saying.
A CDC summary specifically noted that approximately 89.5% of bisexual women, most heterosexual women who experienced domestic violence, reported only male perpetrators. Oh, okay, gotcha. Based. True. Women are the best. Okay.
Because in most
So
instances, 18-year-olds should be the ones to get married, but there are some instances where you think 17-year-olds would be able to consent in the way that an 18-year-old can.
No.
Oh,
You
okay.
asked,
What are you saying?
can you legislate that 17-year-olds can get married?
I didn't ask that at all.
What are you asking then?
I wasn't asking anything. Just to be absolutely clear, you brought up. We talked about the age of consent.
Majority of lesbian women are bisexual, by the way. Okay, thank God. There's still hope.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm just asking. Why can't you could have specific legislation for this? Yes, of course.
Yeah, no, hold on. You can't have
Oh,
hyper-specific
fuck, I
legislation
didn't
for
mean to skip
everything.
that.
So I'll just lay it out again.
You don't
Maybe
need it for
maybe it's me that's confused. Let me just lay it out one more time. Maybe if I say it out loud, I'll realize I'm wrong. We said that there's an instance of like two incestuous brothers.
I'm not answering just anything to not answer the question. You just do anything to not answer
I'm
the
not
question.
understanding. I'm trying to restate
Like,
what we're talking
you're
about so that we can.
possibly one of the most bad faith interlocutors.
You
You
think
just refuse to answer questions. There's two twin brothers. We can pass
Yeah.
hyper-specific legislation. We do it all the time.
Nice.
Okay.
Tell me
Yeah.
why it is that it's immoral for them to get married if there's no grooming present. Why?
So I just want to go through it again, just to be clear, because I feel like maybe I'm misspeaking something. If you're busy or you're impatient
Nice.
and you don't want to have this conversation, that's fine.
I don't even. Yeah,
But-
let's have a conversation.
But
about
what
the
we were
conversation.
talking about is there's an instance in the overwhelming majority of situations, two family members is pretty much almost always going to be some kind of a familial grooming and abuse. You're saying, well, what about instances where it's not happening? So like the nth of a percent of an instance. Okay. What I'm saying is you can't really figure out a way to figure out that that's not true, and you can't legislate for that hyper specific aspect. Then you brought up 17-year-olds, and I'm saying 18 is the age of consent. What I interpreted is you're saying that there are instances where 17-year-olds can consent like 18-year-olds can, right? But I would say,
Can you answer my question now?
but so like how can a 17-year-old? How would you figure out that a 17-year-old would have the
Who
same
gives a shit?
ability?
It's irrelevant.
Why is it
Two twin
irrelevant?
brothers.
I'm not-
You legislate that if they're not groomed, they can get married.
How do you know that they weren't groomed?
You just run an investigation.
What's
and
the
you go off
investigation
the
look
best
like?
information you got.
I think it would probably come back that they were pretty much always groomed.
And they just tell you we weren't.
So what you're saying is in this scenario that's never going to like really exist. What the
It
answer
exists
is?
right now. I can give you cases of incest all over the country where they petition to the government to be married and it's non-reproductive.
Well, that doesn't mean that
claim
that doesn't
they
mean
claim
that
that they
were
just fell in love. They claim that they fell in love. Yeah,
No.
and you can't make arguments where we don't do pre-crime. You can't be like because
Even among obligate lesbian women, around 1/3 of them reported domestic violence from previous male partner. Oh, but what about the 2/3? The other 2/3 said that they never experienced domestic violence before, I'm guessing.
in many of these situations there's grooming. In the situations where there's not, that means it's okay. So tell me why it's immoral. Why is it immoral
Yeah.
for two twin brothers to get married? Why?
I've explained that like 6 times. So I'm not going to.
No, you haven't. You just keep recapping the fucking conversation.
Okay.
There's
Damn, he spent a lot of reading about twincest. I just shut up.
I think
brothers,
if you're
there's
not
no grooming.
if you're
I
not
can't get married.
if you're not satisfied with the answers I've given you, then unfortunately I don't think any
You
other
haven't given me
explanation is
any.
going to. Okay.
There's no answer. Why?
If you don't
Why?
feel that those are satisfactory answers, then I guess that we're just going to be in an impasse.
You mean no answer?
I gave you a pretty in-depth answer.
What is the no? You didn't actually give me any.
Okay.
You just recap the conversation we already had.
Mhm.
What is the specific reason? Just summarize it for me.
I
The
did
specific
multiple
reason.
times.
Summarize it in like 3 sentences.
Yeah.
Why two twin?
I've seen videos online, some involving siblings getting stuck. That would seem to suggest there can be cases. True. Beat this argument, motherfucker. Damn.
Brother can't get married if no groom.
I answered that
Oh
question
my
3 times.
God.
Answer it again.
I'd rather not. I
Please,
don't think it's going to be
please.
productive. Yeah.
No, it's the most productive. Answer the question.
I don't think it is. Are you saying we should make incest legal?
No, I'm asking you why it is that what's the moral reason that you can object?
I
to
already
twin brothers?
answered the question.
You didn't answer. You didn't.
I
You're
did.
lying. You're
I'm
lying.
not
So you
lying. Maybe
take
I'm
never
wrong,
answer.
but I did answer the question.
No, you're purposely obfuscating. Answer the question.
I answered it.
Why is it immoral, dude?
I answered the question. In every
So answer
every
it again.
instance is going to be a product of some kind of grooming.
Every instance.
Pretty
now?
much every instance, an overwhelming majority of instances. Yeah, that was my
Instances
answer.
where there is no grooming.
You wouldn't be able
Why?
to figure that out to a satisfactory degree. In the same way that you wouldn't
Okay,
be able to figure out that 17-year-olds can
what.
consent like 18-year-olds, like you were saying
I'll tell you
before.
what. I'll give you $10,000 right this second if you can prove to me that every instance of two twins who wanted to get married is going to be grooming. Go ahead and demonstrate that.
Okay.
Do it.
Okay. I think that that's an
can't.
unrealistic question. Yeah.
No, it's not unrealistic. You
No.
you actually haven't answered the question.
Well, I did. What I said is that there's
You
no
just
way
said-
to
you just said, I
figure
don't
out.
think we can prove. Why do they need? First of all, why do they need to prove to you that there was no grooming if they want to get married?
Grooming is bad. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, but who are they getting groomed by?
Their parents.
Wait, twins are getting married because their parents groomed them to get married?
Yeah. So the general
What the fuck are
scenario.
you basing that on? You just made it up.
Yeah. So
What are
anyway,
you basing that on?
in the majority of like familial situations, if you have
Yeah.
two siblings that are comfortable with having sex with each other, it's because their parents allowed it in some capacity or some other outside influence
Prove
allowed
it.
some kind of grooming outside of
Prove
it.
it right this second.
I guess you'd have to just appreciate
You just made it
mental
up.
health. You think I made
When you
that
talk
up?
about grooming,
So do you
the
think that
groomer is the person who's usually having sex with the other person?
Well, it's
You're
interesting
not
that
usually
you
being
said
groomed by external sources.
So what does the word
That's
usually means
okay.
always, or
Yeah, I'm not even accepting usually here.
you just said usually?
You know, from your view, it's not
That's
even
my-
usually.
It's not really my what? You said usually the person that's groomed is groomed by the physical, like a sexual abuser.
Yeah, the person who wants to have sex with them. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're not
and-
groomed by external forces.
Yeah,
Usually.
like a father can or a mother can groom two kids to have sex with each other. Yes.
Yeah, but they don't. That's what do you mean? That's rare.
Gus seems kind of dumb, not gonna lie. Dirty Dancer, is there any content creator that you like that is not Destiny? Or are you gonna like shit on every content creator who is not Destiny? I feel like out of all the content creators I watch or whatever, like you shit on everyone.
That's
dude.
what it is rare, but there's also it's very rare to be attracted to your sibling.
Bro, Andrew Wilson is Lonerbox. Oh, come on. That's too high of a bar, dude. The video links is like help me, step bro. Step bro. Help. I'm being butt fucked. Dude, it's just like I can't like what are you supposed to do here? Just send him every single like video on Pornhub. I don't fucking know. Go ahead, let him have fun with that.
Who wanted to get married, two
How
twin brothers
much
who want to get
will-
married.
Yeah.
Why
The
is it that you
washing
would just instantly
machine.
default to the parents
The washing machine, the microwave.
groom them?
Because there's absolutely, I don't think that there's any meaningful way that two people that grew up together that are twins would have a sexual relationship with each other without some kind of external force.
They just really want to.
Yeah, probably because they were groomed as kids to want that.
No, prove it.
Prove what?
Yeah, exactly. If
You want me?
can't
You want?
prove
You're
it-
asking me to groom kids to try to show
So
you an
if I
example?
tell
That's a little
you-
crazy.
If
I
I tell you
think.
that most homosexuals,
Mm.
right,
Yeah.
report that there was abuse in their past
Wow.
or some sort of grooming, they shouldn't be able to get married.
Well, just because you were abused or groomed doesn't mean that you would make a bad parent.
I didn't ask about parenting. I asked about marriage.
You're saying that most gay. So just to be clear, you would agree with the same thing when it comes to straight marriages? Because what I'm saying explicitly is that the majority of like incestual relationships, like yeah, grooming is going to be involved. That's not the case for gay people.
Yeah, but you just made that up, right?
What did I make up?
That the majority of incestuous relationships
Yeah,
with
that's
twin brothers
true.
would be due to grooming.
There would be some kind of grooming involved because that's
Yeah,
something that's going
you
to
just
happen.
you literally just made that up.
If you say so, okay.
And not only that, okay, then here's my counterfact.
Let's hear it.
If it's the case then that most homosexuals report some sort of grooming
Yeah.
when they were young,
Yeah.
we should prevent them from getting married too then, right?
Well, that's not true.
If it were the case. No, but if it were the case. Hang on, but if it were the case. But if it were.
But it's not.
But if it were.
But it's not.
But if it were though.
But it's not.
Yeah, but the entailment of your logic, if it were.
But it's not.
But if it were.
But I'm having like a real, like we're having like a real life
I am
scenario.
too.
This is
I'm
not.
just
It's not.
following
It's
your
not some.
logic. I'm just following
Well,
your
I know,
logic.
but
If
it's
it were the case,
yeah.
if it were the case
Yeah.
that most homosexuals reported that they had some sort of grooming or abuse when they were
Yeah.
young, then that would mean that we should prevent them from getting married, right?
But it's not true.
Yeah, but if it were true.
It's not.
Yeah, but if it were. Can you answer my question?
I am. It's not true. It's an unrealistic scenario. It's an entirely. It's an entirely. Yeah, it's an entirely unrealistic, unproductive scenario that doesn't happen. So it's not. There's no reason to answer. I am answering the question. You just don't like
Yeah,
my
the question
answer.
I didn't ask you about the truth of it.
Yeah.
I asked you
Well, I'm
one
answering with the truth of
specific
it.
question. If it were true.
Yeah.
If it were true.
But it's not, and it's unrealistic,
but
and
if
it's
it
not.
were.
It's not comparable to life, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, but if it were true that most homosexuals experience grooming or some sort of sexual abuse, would it be the case that they shouldn't get married?
No.
No what?
No, they should still be able to get married.
Okay, then your whole position just fell
But it's
flat.
not. It doesn't fall flat at all. Because in
Yes,
my
that would be a contradiction in terms.
one sec. In my scenario, these two kids are groomed together to fuck each other, to engage in CSAM, sexual relationships. In the other situation, it is a
Please, I'm almost there.
gay person that was groomed externally from the other partner. So it's not
Yeah,
even
but
close to comparable.
all you're doing is saying the explanation for the behavior in this one case is grooming, so therefore
That's
it's
not what I'm
always
saying.
going to be-
I'm saying it's grooming
so therefore it's wrong.
towards. I'm saying it's grooming towards a specific, like their own sibling.
Yeah.
Like
so,
the other. What do you mean? So they were
So what?
groomed into wanting to be with their own sibling.
Yeah, so these guys are groomed into wanting to have sex with men.
Who is gay people?
Let's say if it were the case that
Are you
gay
saying-
men say that they were groomed
Yeah.
at a young age to have sex with other men, and they say that that's part of what makes them gay, those guys should not be getting married, right?
I don't think that's happening. Oh, hold on. Let me just get the scenario. You're saying that it's a situation where a kid is getting groomed into having sex with men, so they shouldn't get married. No, I think they should still be able to get married, just not to their groomer. I guess would be the answer.
Okay. so why
Again,
can't
just to be
the
absolutely clear. Just to be absolutely clear.
groomer?
Just to be absolutely clear. We're talking about one scenario where there's two people groomed, two siblings groomed into wanting to be with each other, versus a gay person that was groomed to have sex with men. But
Yeah.
like it's as long as they're not
Yeah,
married
so
to
why
their
should
groomer.
one get married? Not the other. That makes no sense.
Because it makes perfect sense. I think you know that. Because
No,
one
it doesn't
instance,
make
okay, I'm sorry. In one instance, it's two brothers being groomed into fucking each other. In the other instance, it is a gay person, I guess, gay kid being groomed into wanting to sleep with or forced to be sleep with men, and then growing up and then wanting to marry a different man.
Yeah, the twin brothers are grown up and they want to marry each other.
I think that you're understanding the specific thing I'm saying, but you're just intentionally ignoring it.
No, the twin brothers
Yeah.
can't get married unless they're adults.
That's
so
not what
they're
I'm saying.
adults
That's not
and
what
they
I'm
want to get married. What's the bar here? Why are we barring them?
But that's not what I'm saying. Because they were specifically groomed as
In the case of-
as family members into being with each other. And
Homosexuals are groomed at a young age to have sex with men.
But that's not true.
Why aren't they being barred?
Because they're not being marrying the men that groomed them,
Neither are the twins.
but they were groomed into wanting to be with each other.
So were the homosexuals. They were groomed into wanting this thing too.
But no, but it's not this thing. It's a specific.
Like talking to a child, which is probably not like maybe that's not the right word to use here. I don't. Okay, you can have candy later, but it's later right now. No, I mean like later, like not later right now. But time just passed. It's later. Technically it's later. No, Andrew. We can have candy later. Okay. Well, but time just passed, so technically it is later. So you do agree it is later, right? It's later. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Person. There's two specific people in the one instance when it comes to the incest with the brothers. There's one specific person marrying who they want once they become older. That's not the person that they were groomed into.
Homosexual is groomed into like, I don't know, having sex with some other homosexual
Yeah, I'm sorry to say this, but Andrew is in his 40s, okay?
kid, and then 10 years later wants to marry him because he turns out he loves him. They trauma bonded. They love each other. Should they be barred?
So you're saying that in this instance with the two gay
Mike equals right, and you fucking slap baby Andrew? Ooh, okay.
brothers, they might have trauma bonded. That's interesting. I'll have to think about that one.
Answer the question.
I'd say it's probably inappropriate, but you know, I
Would
would
you bar him?
the non
To the horse meme, you cannot lead the retarded Andrew to to the candy, okay? The retarded Andrew say he want the candy. You say to him, you want he can have the candy later, and he does say that later mean the several seconds. No, motherfucker. Later mean later. Okay, later do not mean the several seconds. Even though several seconds pass means soon. Soon is several seconds. Later means like several hours or some shit. But even kindergartner can figure this out. It doesn't take the Asian to figure this out. I don't fucking know, dude. It's just...
Parents, or excuse me, the non brothers, yeah, I would let them get married.
Of course, but not the brothers.
No, because again, I think that even if this even if this hyper specific scenario is true, there's no way to figure out if that is true, and so we should make the overwhelming decision to not let family members get married.
Well, wait, I'm sorry. All the objections are now off the table. Now it's exactly the same situation, basically.
Okay, if you say so.
No, I mean not.
Mother, you're logically inconsistent. Mother, you're inconsistent. Mother, whoa, mother, you're inconsistent. Wow. Okay, so.
Say so. Once groomed into like loving Paul, 10 years later gets married to Paul. You wouldn't bar that. Right. Once groomed into loving brother A, 10 years later wants to marry brother A. Yo. Why is there now? What's the symmetry breaker now?
Well, I think I've just played 3 times there. I think it's a little exhausting going back and forth and just like
just one last time. What's the threshold?
That's hot.
Well, I was saying that this is a very hyper specific scenario where 2 family members are groomed into being in a relationship. That's going to be most incestuous relationships, right? And there's no way to distinguish if that is not true. If this in this hyper specific scenario somehow these 2 brothers were not groomed in some capacity.
Yeah. So what? All things are now. You don't need to make those determinations. You haven't even established. You haven't even established why it would be that would even be immoral. You haven't even established why that would be immoral from the outset. All you've done is make conflations between various things to try to obfuscate away from the fact that you have no explanation for why it would be. You just like, well, twin brothers couldn't demonstrate they weren't groomed. It's like, so what? Almost nobody can demonstrate that they were groomed.
Homosexuality isn't a product of grooming? Yeah, obviously. But like Andrew is retarded, okay? No, sorry. Andrew he's a debate incest, okay? He's a debate incest. No, he's a debate groomer, okay? He's a debate groomer, okay? When the conversation is not even about debating, when the conversation is just simply a discussion, Andrew Wilson will groom the discussion into a debate, okay? He'll groom a conversation into a debate, okay? Did you know reverse cowgirl is illegal in Alabama because you shouldn't turn your back on family? I've heard that before. Okay, you didn't come with that one. All right.
What's your point?
They weren't groomed, you mean? Yeah. I think I laid the point out pretty well. Again, that incest generally involves grooming to a pretty high degree because 2 brothers wouldn't have a sexual relationship or a romantic relationship without being groomed into thinking that behavior is okay at a young age.
Yay.
I mean, except you just made that up.
Sure, if you say so, yeah.
I mean, that's the only problem, right? Is that you made it up. Okay. Yeah, it's usually the groomer is the person who wants to have the sexual intercourse.
It's very interesting that you use the word usually and you think that somehow debunks my argument.
Well, because in the case of incest, you would have to demonstrate with twins who the groomer is. If you say the groomer's not the twins, then I don't see what the objection is to the twins getting married.
What? No way.
Yeah, but why would that prevent them as adults from getting? What would be the issue, though?
I don't think that we should normalize grooming. And there's like no scenario.
You're not normalizing the grooming,
but you are because there's no way to get to that point without grooming.
Yeah, but this same argument would apply to the homosexual then.
I don't know why. I honestly have no idea how this has anything to do with gay people. Most gay people aren't sexually groomed or abused or any of these things. So why would
they need to be? If they ever were, why should you still let them get married?
Buggery? Oh my god, British people. It can't be me. Okay.
I think we talked about this like 7 times.
It's just fucking crazy too. It's like the most inconsistent, incoherent logic I've ever heard.
I think you actually think that, which is very most interesting. I think that's the most interesting part of this conversation is like understanding who you are as a person.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Sure, why not?
You have nothing to ground any of your worldview on. It's just totally made up. For instance, in this case, if you were trying to equate that people who were groomed into a relationship could never have that relationship after the fact.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, well then why couldn't twin brothers do that?
That's not what I was saying. What are you talking about? I said that in most incest situations they would be groomed into that relationship.
Yeah, but even if that was the case and I just granted it.
How do you figure out
why is that 10 years removed from groomer they can't get married? Why?
I don't know. Maybe they should. Are you saying that they should be able to get married or are you going to say that's my worldview?
I'm saying from your worldview I haven't heard any argument for why not.
I think I gave a pretty good argument on that a few times. So I think if you want we can move on to something else or we could just
the idea if you don't want to normalize, but then if I say I don't want to normalize, you say but that's different. And it's like,
well, I think that there's probably a difference between like incestuous relationships versus like gay relationships. Probably.
What?
You're using this as a vehicle to try to say that gay people shouldn't get married or be in relationships.
No, I'm just using it as a vehicle to show how inconsistent your logic is when it comes to if groomed should not be able to, but in case of groomed should be able to.
If that's how you fundamentalize what I said, then that's okay.
Yeah, just zero arguments there. So yeah, we can move on to whatever you want. You got like 30 minutes left. So
yeah, I mean, listen, if you have anything else that you got an issue with, we can talk about it.
There's some other shit that you've said here.
Bro, this guy is beyond parody, dude. Like Andrew is so fucking funny. But he doesn't realize how funny he is. Okay, like he's so funny, dude. Oh,
let's see. Oh, we only got through like 2, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I do have one question the chat keeps asking.
Sure, let's hear it.
How would
Oh
you feel
my
if you didn't eat breakfast this morning?
I'd probably be hungry. Yeah, I'm a little hungry right now, honestly.
Okay.
Is that like a meme?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to say, I don't know how I feel. I ate breakfast this morning. Is that like what the meme is?
Well, they were being meaner than that. So
Well, I assume that. I appreciate you filtering your chat for me. I appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah. They actually said second breakfast.
have we that was pretty funny. Have we ever had like Andrew like ever have a normal conversation? Like, or is he always like this? There's no way he's always like this, right? Like he's not this person is not human. He's not a human person, okay? Like, he's fundamentally unhuman.
That was it.
Well, so far I had one breakfast, unfortunately. I have a lot of calories left today, though, so I'm probably gonna eat a good amount later.
Yeah.
Oh,
Look,
yeah.
I was trying to be nice. I wasn't. Yeah.
Well, I think that was a little funny. No,
It was funny.
Yeah,
I mean, it was funny for sure.
You know, this is almost as funny as when me and Destiny interacts. Okay, it's almost as funny as when me and Destiny interacts with one another. Okay, when we're like just having these awkward, random moments that cannot be scripted, like these unscripted, random, improvised moments.
it's silly, you know.
Yeah. So hang on a second. Let me pull these up.
I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
Yeah. So this was over the title of the video,
right.
Rape Apologia.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Yeah,
the same
can you
video.
Can you tell me when I ever was an apologist for
Oh,
rape?
well, I think I brought that up before. The whole thing where you think that like women should be appreciated for men for not like raping them. I think that's some level of rape
You scream like a maniac, and he fails to oral farm. True.
apology. I think that the other thing I conceded that it was out of context though earlier, right? With the Oliver one.
Yeah, but to be consistent inside of the worldview, I just want you to remember that when you repeat this video,
Yeah.
you said that they
Dude, I don't even want to have a conversation with Andrew. Andrew Wilson's the kind of motherfucker where you say killing is bad. And he's like, what about if you kill in self-defense? And I'm like, okay, when I refer to killing, I mean like killing as in like murdering usually. And then he would be like, okay, so you agree that killing isn't inherently bad, right? And I would be like, I mean, I guess so. And he's like, that means you lied, right? When you said that killing is bad and you clarified later that you meant killing without, it means that you contradicted yourself. You're a hypocrite. And I'm like, no, I mean, like usually when we say killing, like we're talking about murder, right? We're not talking about self-defense situations most of the time, right? It's like, no, I mean, like you contradicted. It's like, how do you talk about this? Oh my God. Oh, how do you talk about this?
should be thankful for that.
I never said that.
You did. You said they should be thankful for that benevolence. Actually, you're right. You
Well,
did say that.
what I actually said,
You literally did. No, I didn't. You are the one that did this. I was the one that broadened the definition. You were the one that narrowed the definition.
I believe I actually said, maybe I'm wrong, is that like
'Cause
if
you're
men created the system,
autistic.
why would they be thankful to men for removing the system?
Nope. But
I'm pretty
you'll
sure I
see.
said that.
I'll send you the clip of you conceding.
I
that
appreciate
point.
that. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
So then, hang
That
on,
point or
let me
in
look
this
at
specific
the
instance,
one.
or okay. Do you have any clips that are from like I remember you commented on one of the things you commented on, I think, or the thing you commented on, excuse me, was a clip where I talked about how if you think that trans people are mentally ill, then you have to come to terms with the concept that you believe in a magical apple curse. Did you want to bring that one up? That was the one that seemed to get you to want to have this conversation with me.
No, that was just more of your fucking sniping.
Well, what do you think
So-
about that take?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's rational for you if you if you think that God can't make snakes talk even though you believe in him, right?
Is the story of Adam and Eve like a fact? I thought that was more of like a story.
Did
Generally
God tell you that?
Yeah, he did. He told me that. Google told me that
Oh.
actually. My understanding is that most religious people say the story of Adam and Eve is just a story and is not actually like some kind of historical accuracy.
But God told you that.
Yeah, he's a good guy. You should get to know him.
How did your God put evolution in place
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely.
from a single cell organism?
Yeah, why not? I think God's capable of something that complex.
And and the Big Bang is what created the universe.
Maybe God did the Big Bang. Yeah, I think that makes sense to me.
And scientists agree with that, right?
Scientists agree with what?
That there was a Big Bang in evolution.
Generally speaking, I think so. That's the most compelling theory that they have. Yeah.
Do they believe in God, or do they say that there's no evidence for
Some
God?
of them probably do believe in God. Yeah, I think that there are
What do
some
scientists say the best evidence for God is?
I don't know. Does there need to be explicit evidence for God for you to have faith in him?
Well, I don't know. It seems to me that you take the God part and you
Yeah.
say that you believe in the scientific consensus part and all these things that you like, but you don't believe in the scientific consensus part on God.
So you're saying that if I believe that there was a God who has created this entire complex world, that I must be wrong because some of the scientists that he created don't know if he's real.
Not some. The overwhelming scientific consensus is that there's no evidence for God.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, I'm correct because my objective morality says so.
It's objective.
No, it's objective. God said so.
Oh, it is objective.
Yeah, mine is. Yeah, my God.
So you
gives me
base,
objective morality.
yes. So can you tell me more about the nature of your God?
It's very similar to your God. I think so.
Well, that doesn't answer my question. What's the nature of your God?
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He thinks that as long as people aren't harming each other, that they should be able to engage in particular behaviors. He's not.
You're fucking lying out of your ass. Oh my God. Okay, you're just trying to piss me off and one guy me. Okay, I'm just gonna ban you, whatever, man. I'm done.
particularly oppressive to gay
Can
people.
your
or
God
trans
lift
people.
up a rock
He
so
doesn't
big
support the patriarchy, I
can-
guess. He supports
yeah,
men and women
can
being
your
equal.
God make a rock so big he can't lift it?
That's a very interesting question. Can
Can
your
your
God do that?
God make a taco so big that he can't eat it?
Interesting. Is that
Let me ask you
God
another
do that?
question. Can your God
I
make
think
other
I could eat it.
Can your God make other gods?
Maybe.
Can he make
Interesting.
other gods that are
I am mad. Yeah, because like you're always trying to trigger me. So you triggered me. I'm mad, and I don't want you in chat anymore. That's it. It's like that. I think it's pretty simple.
More powerful.
Well, he did though, right? Because God did create the concepts of like Thor and Odin and all these other gods from different
Can he
religions.
make gods that are more powerful than him?
Ooh, that's an interesting one. That's interesting. I've never considered that before. Personally, I would think that's blasphemous to even consider something like that. But that's an interesting thought experiment.
Can he?
I don't know. I have to think about that. I want to have a more. I want to pontificate
think about it?
Yeah, I don't want to speak without any meaning.
Oh,
it's the first time I'm hearing this. You're a pro at this, so I don't really know. I've never heard a lot of these arguments before. It was one of the reasons I appreciate the conversation because I really have never been in the debate world before. So it's very interesting to see.
Can your God lie?
Maybe. I don't know.
You don't know if your God can lie?
I don't know. I haven't thought about that. I usually
how do you know if your God's lying to you or not?
That's a good question. I don't know. It's really interesting. I'm going to think about that one. I need some time to really let that.
There's a lot. You got a lot to think about this God character that keeps talking.
I do. I never considered if God would lie to me.
God created me in this image. I'm a Foodshops viewer. Does that imply God watches me? I guess by definition he does, right? I like how Andrew Wilson is like unable to he's unable to like get under his skin. I think that part is well done. I think it's well done that getting under Papa's skin, that sounds so weird. I'm so sorry. That sounds so fucking weird. Okay, sorry. Let me rephrase this. What the fuck? Okay, never mind. I
considered if God would create something greater than himself. I just never.
So you
thought
believe
about
in
that.
divine command, but you don't understand the nature of the God you believe in.
I'm sorry.
Do you have to know if God can lie or not to understand him? Is that what you're saying?
How do you know that what he's telling you is true?
Well, wouldn't he be able to lie to me effectively, regardless? Like it doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. It's your God.
Maybe God removed my ability from knowing that he's lying because he's so smart.
Yeah. So if your God can lie to you, then how do you know that what your God's telling you is not a lie?
Can your God lie to you, or are you going to tell me
What does
that?
it have to do with anything? What does it have to do with anything?
There you go. Do you know if your God can lie to you?
Yes, I do know.
Does he lie to
you? Do you?
Does he lie to you?
No, he can't. No, it's not part of his nature.
Why?
Because God has a revealed nature. Now here,
but what if God's lie was part of his divine plan? Like what if he lied to you to be able to get you to do something that he wants you to be able to do for his divine plan? Can he not do that?
Yeah. The problem is that what you've done is you have destroyed any ideal that your epistemology or ontology or grounding morality itself isn't a lie because you conceded that your God can lie. That part of his nature is that.
Oh my god. God, religious Andes. Fuck me, dude. Oh my god, so stupid.
Well, maybe he can lie, but wouldn't you trust him to lie productively?
Well, if he can lie, what's your assurance he's not lying to you?
I don't know that, but if I trust in God, I would imagine that lie would be what he wants.
Do you trust in a God that can lie to you?
Yeah, why not? My wife lies to me all the time. She says I have a huge hog.
Because it seems like, well, wait a second. You don't trust that your wife would never lie.
No, I trust my wife. If she was going to lie to me, lies productively to me. She'll say I have a big hog to make me feel good about myself. Maybe God lies to me about something to make me feel good about myself.
But help me out here.
Yeah, I'm not going to show you.
How do you distinguish between the things which he's telling you which are true or a lie?
I wouldn't be able to. That would be his plan because he's God.
Can Satan lie to you?
Probably, yeah. I don't really.
How do you know it's not Satan talking to you?
I guess I don't. Maybe it is Satan talking to me. Do you know if you're talking to Satan?
How would you know?
That's an interesting question.
I don't. Oh my god. Do you think? Oh my god. Maybe I need a second breakfast. How does Andrew know if it's God's nature is good? I don't know. Yes. I don't know. You fucking believe it is, I guess. These people are fucking retarded, okay?
Way to test?
I understand. Okay, so what you're saying is that your test is if God lies to you, that's Satan. And that's how you know it's God.
You're making all sorts of inferences here that don't make sense.
Sorry. You said your God can't lie, and now you're trying to ask me. I don't think it makes sense, like what I brought up. You said your God can't lie.
Basic questions about the God that you claim you get your divine inspiration and speaks to you and told you that gay marriage was okay.
I'm starting to think that you don't believe I believe in God.
I don't, no.
Okay, that's what you wanted to say. Okay, fair enough.
No.
I think that you probably have a much stronger relationship with what you think God is than I do.
I'm asking you specific questions about the nature of your God for a reason.
Yeah. What's the reason?
Do you understand?
Well, the reason seems because you don't believe
I want to see if the nature of your God is coherent.
Okay.
Like, is your God omniscient and omnipresent? Can he see everything and be everywhere at once?
Why does God need to make sense to you?
Wait, did he just reference everything everywhere all at once? Oh my god. Sorry.
Why does logic need to make sense to you?
Well, God's not logic. It's a faith thing. Why does he need to make sense to you?
In the Christian view, yes, the logos, logic, is part of the nature of God.
Okay. But what if his logic is something that you don't understand because he is an all-powerful being?
His revealed nature is revealed to you because of transcendentals like logic. And those transcendentals are not material, but they're still true. That's part of the revealed nature of God. Your God can lie. Can your God do things which are illogical?
I don't know. Illogical? Maybe. I imagine he would operate with logical intent to create the best outcomes.
Is he omniscient and omnipresent?
Maybe.
He's omnipotent?
I guess so. Is your God omnipotent?
And he's omniscient?
Sure.
So then, did he know what you were going to do before you did it?
Maybe. I mean, that's a whole conversation about free will. I don't know. Maybe we don't have free will. Maybe God is guiding our path. And
is there even any purpose to this conversation if there's no free will? We're just predetermined to have it.
Maybe. I mean, maybe this conversation is part of that free will, right? Like maybe our conversation is what he wanted us to have so that other people could see it and they could have a particular interpretation of what's going on around them.
Yeah, but I mean, who cares if that's predetermined?
Well, yeah, but if this conversation didn't happen, then all the other predeterminations that God wanted
to... No, the conversation couldn't have not happened because it was predetermined, right?
Sure. But if it needs to happen for his other plans to happen, then this is a productive, needed conversation.
It's too late for this. It's just too late for this. this. It's too late for this. It's just too late for this. I'm too sleepy for this shit, dude.
That was also predetermined. You didn't have any choice in the matter anyway.
It's possible. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's part of the nature of your God.
Could be. Do you think is that part of the nature of your God?
That would eliminate predeterminism, eliminates free will. Even in your view, you would call it compatibilism, probably. I don't even believe in that. But the point is that your God's incoherent. So the reason that I bring this up is because the way that you would be able to make these determinations on who's telling the truth about their God would be based around the coherency of the view. Your view doesn't have coherency, doesn't have any. Your God can lie to you. You're not sure if he's omniscient. You're not sure what his nature is. You're not sure if it's Satan talking to you. You're not sure about anything. You're just not sure.
I guess so.
So there's no coherency. How could you not be sure in the nature of a God you profess faith in?
You don't think you're saying that just because I'm not sure of something that means that I can't have like some kind of a faith in it? Maybe that's my own internal. Well, that could possibly. I think that maybe that's my relationship with God, is that my uneasiness and lack of understanding of some things.
So are you sure that it's God talking to you?
I don't know. I guess I'll have to think about it afterwards. I think that what is really.
So you're not actually sure that God told you gays should get married?
I don't know.
And you're not sure
I think that what the outcome you're looking for is to say, because you don't think I have like a level of objective morality, yours must be better. And I think that that's kind of the way that you operate, is that you have something you want to tell me instead of having a conversation. Yeah, instead of having like some kind of a conversation, you're trying to tell me something. But how do you know? How do you know God's not speaking through me right now to talk to you? How do you know your God's not speaking through me right now to try to communicate something to you?
I'm just going to assume that he is. That would be objective morality, right?
Okay, interesting.
Would that be objective morality?
I don't know. What if God's not concerned with like the hyper-specific debate definitions that you're trying to apply?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe we should have a conversation about it. I don't know.
I think that it might be more productive if both of us just think about what happened, and maybe you think about maybe God's trying to talk to you through different people to try to get you to understand that maybe the way that you practice God is
maybe we can have a conversation about it. I don't know.
Maybe.
I just don't know.
Okay.
I don't know anything. I don't know what I think. I don't know what I believe. I don't know what my worldview is. I don't know what my God thinks.
I think that like a skepticism that I engage with is normal for people who are constantly trying to come to the correct conclusion overall by engaging with other people and hearing what they have to say and trying to figure things out, trying to move forward in a productive way. It sounds like you have a worldview rooted in like a book that is very old. I would say very rampant with abuse of different men who wanted to have an influence over to maintain power, which is why historically the Bible wasn't even in the language everybody spoke, because it was about some kind of authoritarian power complex. And I think that like you believe in that. I think it makes you feel good and grounded, which I think is great for mental health. I think that's why.
Do you know that though, or is that another thing that you don't know?
I think that like a certainty in a higher power can be really good and positive and productive for a lot of people experiencing like potentially. I'm not saying you are mental health issues, which is why I think that religious people might have a leg up on that, because they have a certainty, even if it is or isn't real, they have a certainty, and I think it's a beautiful thing.
So I just want to make sure that I got this clear. You believe in a higher power that speaks to you, that can lie, and you're unclear on its nature, but you were criticizing me.
Wait, why do you think I'm unclear on his nature? Why can't I think he has a positive nature but still lie?
What does that mean? What does a positive nature mean?
A nature that would have a positive outcome for people.
Does your God just so happen to correlate all the things that he wants with you with modern progressive values?
Maybe, yeah. Hasn't the Bible made like evolution? Well, the New Testament is an entire new progressive chapter of the Bible.
He really is a debate groomer, dude. He really is a debate groomer.
Bible, it's generally. I mean, Jesus in and of himself is known for being a loving, kind, preaching figure who says that even
who sends all the people to hell.
Well, God sends them to hell, right? I'm sorry. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. Is Jesus? I thought Jesus was a better representation. He was like a kinder representation. There was less, I guess you say, aggression in the New Testament.
No, it's a continuation.
Yeah. It's a continuation, but it's like a shift into a more progressive atmosphere.
What changed?
The New Testament. He had a kid. I think that he lightened up after he had a kid. That's pretty typical.
No, there was no lightening up.
So you're telling me that God created sin and then put himself into a woman to come out of that woman to die for the sin he created in all of us?
Wait, I'm super confused. That makes less sense than an invisible man in the sky talks to your brain?
That's what you think as well.
Yeah, so I mean, what's the problem? We both think the same thing, right? Just a bunch of absurd stuff.
It sounds like we both believe something that's impossible to 100% understand or know. That seems very outlandish, and it's people who did not grow up understanding that as well.
Well, then how do we identify mental illness?
Well, I don't know, but I would say that if religion is, I think if religion is
anything, do you know anything?
Okay.
Do you know anything?
Are you okay with me talking, or do I thrighten you when I speak?
Well, I just want to know, like, every time I ask you a question, you suddenly don't know, and then
I think what's interesting is I say I don't know, and then I continue to talk. So wouldn't that mean that I have something to say?
Yeah, I just want to know what makes
what I would say is that if we have a society that of people who believe in a religion, in a God that is unprovable, in Jesus who's unprovable, in a situation where God apparently created all sin, put it into all of us, put it on earth as some kind of a test, made a son, put it into a woman that was actually him, just so that person could die for our sins, and then we would all go to church every week and metaphorically.
Just so you guys know, Jesus died for this, okay? Just so you guys know, Jesus died for this, okay? We're stuck here with this fucking conversation right now because Jesus died for this. Can you believe that Jesus died for this?
Cannibalize his body and blood. I think if that is acceptable and not considered mental illness, we can give trans people who think they were born in the wrong body a little bit of a break.
So then how do we identify what is mentally ill?
I guess we have to have a conversation about it, Andrew.
I guess. Like we are right now, I know.
Yeah.
So how do we identify what's mental illness?
I mean, I guess it depends. If you weren't raised religious, you would think that what you just heard about the description of religion is kind of absurd.
So mental illness is just relativism?
Maybe.
Jesus killed himself because he knew this was coming. I know.
What is mental illness to you?
Well, I think the only way to identify mental illness would be deviations from normalcy of behavior.
Okay. And so if something's normal, then it's okay.
No.
Okay.
But I think that you would identify mental illness by focusing on the distinction in behaviors from the norm.
Sure. And then, but if it's normal, it's okay.
No. Well, it depends on what the behavior is.
What's the behavior and what makes it different?
Well, like, can I tell you about a little island called Papua New Guinea?
I thought you were going to talk about Epstein's Island. I think I heard this. Yeah, there was an
I too think of children all the time. Me too.
island where apparently they thought it was okay to molest kids, right?
Yeah, the Seminole people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So under your relative.
seminal people, Epstein, children. Boom.
Relativism.
Well, we're not talking
Nothing
about
actually-
relativism. We're talking about what we're talking about now is specifically like we're talking about mental illness. And right now, you said
Yeah,
it's
is
out
that mentally ill?
Yeah, I agree that that would be mentally ill to molest
Why?
children. Hold
Why?
on, just to be clear. I want to make sure this is productive. We're talking about how do you identify as something as an issue, and your big or mental illness, excuse me. And you said if one of the big factors is if it's out of the norm. What are the other factors?
Yeah, so it would have to be a massive deviation away from normal universals.
Okay, so how do you define massive deviation? I would assume that you think that gay people are a massive deviation.
So universals would be universalized behavior, which you seem to be present and shared in all humanity.
Okay.
That would be how you would identify mental illness. I don't know of any other way you could do that.
Okay, so you think that like, and I guess gay people would be part of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, there's never been any gay representation in any other society throughout history?
Yeah, there has, but it's been a massive deviation away from normalcy.
What's so like abnormal? It's just two people.
Like it's much more normal
I feel as though most people have ADHD, right? Isn't ADHD describes the mental?
for people to persecute homosexuals than it is for them to be homosexuals.
Sure, there's also an average height, but that doesn't mean that if you're not the average height, then you're some kind of like freak.
Yeah, so then this goes back to the question: then how do we identify what's mental illness? How do we identify it? What is it?
I mean, part of it would be like an abnormal factor, and part of it's going to be a conversation about what's
There's
harm.
what other part is there? Other than,
Harm.
Wait, harm to who?
Harm generally to society and the person, and like you're going for harm reduction when you go for treatment for society and the person.
So if we're just using the basis of harm reduction,
Yeah.
if it was the case that you could give homosexuals a pill and they take it and they're no longer a homosexual, wouldn't that reduce harm in society?
Yeah, if they wanted to go that option, absolutely.
No, they don't want to. You just
Oh, then they don't have to because there's no harm in being gay.
Well, wait, that's not what you said. You said
What did I say?
reducing harm in society.
Yeah, and you could reduce harm in society by not persecuting gay people or by giving them a magic pill.
You can also just force them to take a magic pill and then it's done.
Yeah, but forcing is harm, right? So
Yeah, so what? It's all scalable. That's the harm principle. It's all scalable. So we're just using utils. X amount of positive utils versus negative.
So you're saying if there's
Not the utils.
one solution, you have to go with that solution. I'm not understanding because there's nothing wrong with being gay.
One solution
But there's nothing wrong. There's no harm with being gay.
Who cares? If one solution
That's the
negates
whole conversation,
harm,
isn't it?
If
Who cares?
one solution negates the more amount of harm,
Yeah.
why wouldn't we use that solution?
Why would it be more harm being negated? Like there's nothing harmful about a gay person
Because it's
existing.
impossible to have stigmatization against something that's not present.
So you're saying we should get rid of gay
Andrew has no idea what. No, this is what he's saying. Okay, he says that whether or not we allow gay people to exist, or whether or not we allow gay marriage or gay sex or anything like that, is a cost benefit analysis. Basically, by preventing gay sex, you're able to prevent further down the line HIV, AIDS being spread. Right? That's essentially what he's arguing for. A util is a unit of measurement when it comes to utilitarianism. And util is basically like an intrinsic good. Okay, it's an intrinsic good, a unit of measurement when it comes to intrinsic good. Okay, if you maximize util, that means you're achieving the highest level of average happiness that you can achieve within that given scenario, which means that if you limit gay sex according to his worldview, then you're maximizing util because, well, like, yes, even though you're decreasing util because people aren't able to feel pleasure having gay sex or getting married or anything like that, but it's worth it in the long run because you get to maximize the util because you don't get to have AIDS or HIV or anything like that. You don't have to worry about that. So therefore, this is the argument that he is making. Okay, does that make sense? Like, unfortunately, I actually know what that means. Like, unfortunately, I know what utils and all this shit means, just mainly because I've done the research before into this kind of stuff. And yeah, but he's basically saying the cost benefit analysis is worth it. That's all he's saying. Okay. Obviously it's retarded, but yeah.
people with a pill because people are so rude to gay people.
Well, you're not getting rid of them.
But well, yeah, you're making them straight. You'd be getting rid of them in some capacity.
How's that getting rid of them?
Because they're straight now. I don't know if you're putting a negative inflection on getting rid
That's
of them.
not getting rid of them.
Oh, okay. So you'd be getting rid of the gay.
So if homosexuals
How do you make that distinction?
stopped having sex tomorrow,
Yeah.
all of them,
Yeah.
universally.
If I have one more gay person annoy me, I might start agreeing with Andrew Wilson, dude. Anyway,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they?
I feel like I get annoyed by gay people a lot, to be honest. Like, they're just so insufferable to deal with sometimes. And you know what? I kind of get the point. Okay, whatever.
Still
man.
gay?
Probably sure.
So then your qualification for gay is just attraction, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So all you're doing is switching attraction. So what?
Okay. I feel like we're weirdly going off on a tangent on something that's almost
Not really.
irrelevant.
We're
Hold on.
right
Just
on
be-
point.
well,
Right
it does seem like there's a pattern of like we're doing very like heavy terms. Like I said, you'd be getting rid of the gay people by making them straight. Everybody understood that I just meant that they would no longer be gay because they took a pill, and you seem to be really focused for some reason on this absolute specifics that everybody already understands. That's very interesting to me.
They don't understand because
think
when
that
you
they
say
do.
loaded things like you want to get rid of them, that could be inferred like
I don't
all
think-
over.
I don't think so at all.
That could be clipped out of context, can't it?
If people want to clip me out of context and think I want to get rid of gay people with a pill, then they should do that. I don't
You're
care.
nobody, but they will clip me.
Oh,
out of
you're
context.
saying that you feel the need to be specific because you're afraid you'll get clipped out of context. So this is for you,
I'm
not for me.
afraid. That's what happens.
Oh, but yeah, but you don't want it to happen, which means that you'd be afraid of it. But that's okay. It's okay to be afraid of it.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. So anyway,
Yeah,
the
okay.
pill thing.
Anyway, it would
To
make
be
them
hyper
straight.
specific here, all it does is switch your attraction. What's the problem?
There's no problem. I think if you wanted to do that, that's fine. But there's also
No,
no
you
problem
don't
with being
want
gay. I don't want to. I'm confused.
No,
if
if
a
they
gay
don't want
person,
to,
if a
what's
gay
the
person
problem
wants to
with
take
doing it to them?
if a gay person wants to take a pill that makes them straight, that's fine. But there's no harm in being gay. So if they wanted to stay gay, they could do that.
Okay. So you believe in reducing societal harms, though. I thought.
Yes.
Isn't there there a massive conflict between heterosexuals and homosexuals?
No.
Yes, there is.
I think that if there was a pill that could cure gender dysphoria, I could probably take that in a heartbeat back then. Yeah. If I was offered that pill right now, but is it gender dysphoria either way? Like if I were to take a gender dysphoria cure pill, does that mean that I wouldn't feel dysphoric because now I have a fundamentally different body and I don't feel like a male, so therefore I feel dysphoria in the other direction? If we're talking about like taking a gender dysphoria pill that cures all dysphoria, then I'll take that. If it's only cures dysphoria one way, then I won't take it. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, you take the pill and you feel biological. Well, I mean, you wouldn't get like the negative sensations anymore of like feeling like you don't match yourself.
Well, so I think that
just lying to me.
No, I think that in a lot of your worldview, as somebody who very much stays on Twitter, I've seen you like consistently and constantly, like even responding to people in my comments over the clip that I put up. I think you're very online. I think that that's very that outreach farms people. In the same way, we could have a very productive conversation about trans people and social, contagion and all these other interesting things. It's the same thing that you're engaging in when it comes to like different.
I don't do a good job of staying on Twitter. Other people are way better than me on staying on Twitter. Okay, like I wish I was. Okay, I should be staying more on Twitter more. I should be participating in Twitter more.
Types of like LGBTQ, gay versus straight shit. In my world, in the real world, this doesn't really happen. Most of my family, most of my family voted MAGA. I have gay family that they love. I don't think that this is contentious as you want it to seem.
The dysphoria pill would be weird. Removing the negative aspects, hate towards your body, is a lot different than augmenting your preferences towards like M or F. Well, yeah, but like whether or not it's weird is different from whether or not it would benefit people in the long run. I don't know.
Like it is. So no, I don't think that there's this constant at odds between gay and straight people.
Do you agree that there's some tension?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Do you agree that that would eliminate all of it?
I think there's better ways to eliminate the tension.
Okay, but that would eliminate all tension.
Sure. Absolutely.
And then how about if every single person you forced the pill on said, "Oh man, this is great."
That's great, but like maybe they don't want to do that before because maybe they have a loving relationship and they don't want to take the pill.
I mean, but if we're talking about harm reduction, that's the flaw with harm reduction, isn't it?
Not really. Well, just to be clear, in this scenario, we're talking about a magical pill that doesn't exist. Just to be clear, we're in a scenario where this magical pill doesn't exist and we're pretending it does, right? But like in the real world, it doesn't exist. So in the real world, this conversation, it's a nice thought experiment, but it doesn't apply to the real world. The reality is that in the real world, we should reduce the stigma on gay people, let them get married as long as they have.
Why do we make any future legislation if all we do is focus on what's going on right now? Everything is a hypothetical. If you have future legislation, future tax policy, immigration policy, that's all hypotheticals, dude. And you just pretend like because this isn't happening right this second, therefore it's not worth talking about.
Do you think that? I'm just curious. Do you think that we're very close to a pill that removes being gay from you?
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, we are having a conversation. I said like, hey, listen, this hypothetical is very unrealistic because we have no anti-gay pill or whatever, or we don't have any type of pill that would no longer make you gay consensually.
It has nothing to do with.
And now what you're saying is like, hey, so we can't engage in hypotheticals because you don't want to engage in my hyper extreme hypothetical. That's what's actually happening. And I think
well, hang on.
Well, yeah. Well, it sounds like you're retreating because you feel threatened or something.
All hypotheticals are extreme in the fact that they're not happening right now.
That's a ridiculous way to look at extreme.
No, it's not. What is extreme? It's just some subjective metric for I think this is more likely than this. That's
well, there are some things that we know are more likely than not. Like so, it's more likely based on it's more likely that we can accept the gay people in society now than it is that we'll create a pill that will make them no longer gay.
Yeah, but if we're
I don't like Papa Guts framing. Okay, like he does suck as a debater, but like I don't. But whatever, what he's doing is fine for his own audience. Whatever, I agree with that. But like I think one of the things that Papa Guts says is oh, we shouldn't talk about this because this is not likely IRL, because this isn't happening IRL. But that's not the point of a hypothetical. The hypothetical means it's a hypothetical. It means that you are assuming that this is true, but it's not. The hypothetical isn't based on whether or not the hypothetical is actually going to happen. The hypothetical is based on how much of your moral boundaries or how much of your boundaries or what actions would you take otherwise, right? If this has happened. But it's not there to determine whether or not this will actually happen. It's there to determine whether or not you're consistent, right? It challenges your framework. That's what it's supposed to do. That's the point of a hypothetical. The hypothetical isn't there to it doesn't have to match up to reality in any way, actually. Yeah.
Tracking your logical chain to see if it's consistent. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with us using hypotheticals with more or less likely.
We can, but it's significantly less likely. It's less likely to the extent that the conversation becomes fundamentally unproductive.
Let me move to one other topic because I'm almost out of time. I have to go do a show.
Okay, cool.
Can men be women?
Can men be women? Is this a conversation about trans people? I will engage with you in a conversation about trans people when you have more time.
No, okay, I'll make time. Can men be women?
No, you said you have another show, and I feel like you're going to try to get me to say something and dip out.
Question. Can men be women?
Well, I think you know my answer. I went on my whole entire
yes, no.
I think that there are some people. Maybe, sure, why not?
Okay, can you explain how a man can be a woman?
I think that there's a spiritual side and a logical side and a physical side to everybody, and there are some people who spiritually feel like they're not a man or a woman. And like I said before, I think that if we look at Christianity, which from the outside looks absolutely
this sounds a little bit retarded,
insane, and we make that the standard for sanity, thinking you were born of the wrong body is significantly less insane than metaphorically cannibalizing the body and blood of Jesus Christ, who was put onto this earth.
I don't know about the spirit part at all. I I don't. Okay, I don't know why you said spiritual there, but
But
whatever.
trans
Die
people
for
don't
our
claim that
sins.
they're born in the wrong body.
Some people do. That's generally what it is.
Yeah, some, but not all of them do.
Oh, what do they usually claim? You talk to a lot of trans people?
That they're, yeah, I do. Probably more than you do, especially during debates.
That's
So
very
the
interesting.
incongruence, the
Okay, talking to trans people during debates is way different than having people who are trans as friends, right? Like for example, if you're friends with Blair White, like when you say, "Oh yeah, I'm friends with a trans person," I don't think that counts, bro. Right? Like I don't know. It's like shouldn't that? What do you mean? Debating trans people is not the same as whatever, man. I don't
incongruence
even- I
usually
don't
that
care
trans
anymore,
claim
actually.
is that they have an incongruence between their gender and the sex that they're assigned at birth. Not that they're in the
So
wrong body.
That's
stupid.
effectively the same thing, right?
No, it's
born in
not.
the wrong. So
No.
next time you have this
They
conversation
want
with a
to
trans
keep their body. They want to keep their body.
Do you ask explicitly, hey, would you have rather been born a girl or a boy?
Yeah, they actually
You ask that question a lot?
There's various trans organizations. I have asked that question. There's various trans organizations
I don't think
which
they have.
specifically moved away from that rhetoric because
Okay.
it leads to all sorts of logical absurdities. Like not the least of which
like
being
a magical gay pill that could never
no,
exist.
like what's the fucking what would your frame of reference be?
What do you mean?
You wouldn't have one, and that's the weak part of the,
What do you
the
mean by
argument.
frame of reference? If
Well,
trans people
if
didn't
you feel
they
like
were
you're born
in
in the wrong body, you have no frame of reference
why? What do you mean?
because you've never been in any other body.
Okay, but you'd still feel like you're being born in the wrong body.
What is that? Yeah, but so what? Does that mean like I feel like I should only have one arm, so I cut one of my arms off? Does that make any sense?
No, but see how it goes.
No,
and
exactly.
We'll see if
right?
it's valid after.
You suck a lot of girl cock, Andrew. Okay, you guys are ready for some dirt? Are you guys ready for some dirt? So I think 2 years ago, I think Andrew Wilson, there is evidence that I've seen, not evidence I've seen, but Andrew Wilson actually hooking up with trans women or flirting with trans women. That's what I've heard. Yeah. Rumors, unsubstantiated, but he may have been sexting and hooking up with trans women. Okay. Oh. Yeah.
Born in the wrong body. What's your frame of reference? So
Okay.
that's what they claim. They claim that
Yeah.
there's an incongruence between gender and sex.
Okay, cool.
But what do spectrums of gender point at?
Would they point opposite of each other?
Sex. They point at sex.
Oh, you mean they're directly referenced with sex?
They're pointing towards sex.
What do you mean by that?
Well, meaning when you say man or woman,
Yeah.
and then you create a spectrum between them for gender, right?
Yeah.
Then at either end of that spectrum is male and female
Mhm.
for the referent of man and woman. So all genders are pointing towards sex.
What about what's in the middle of that?
If true.
There is
rumors, just rumors.
In
nothing.
the sex
Just
in the
nonsense.
sex spectrum, like what's in the middle of that?
There is nothing in the middle of the sex spectrum.
There's no like pseudo intersex.
Just rumors.
No. Well, intersex does not mean not male or female.
Look, I'm just gonna say this Andrew Wilson guy. He has such a long history of dirt. He has a huge rabbit hole. If you ever find, are you sure it isn't Chud? No. Chud does as well, but like, but that's more open. That's a lot more open. Okay, it's not Chud. It's not Chud. Chud is open about it, dude. Like he's open that he courted like a fucking trans woman at some point. But I'm talking about like this guy right here. He has a history. He has skeletons in his closet, man.
Well, there's intersex, pseudo male, and pseudo female. So there's one that
And
leans
can you
towards
be
one or the
trans
other.
without being intersex?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think
And
the conversation.
intersexuality has nothing to do with trans.
Well, it does though, right? Because if we can observe,
Andrew Wilson allegedly swallows with a smile on his face. What?
if we can observe that there's an intersex of the body, then why can't there be an intersex
Why
of the
would you
mind?
say that?
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm confused.
Was
The
that
mind
confusing?
or the brain?
I think that those are the same thing. No, maybe the brain.
Well, okay. If you think they're the same thing, I'm willing to concede that as long
Sure.
as you think, okay, so you're saying that the brain
So
is registering
hungry.
a different sex
Maybe.
than the body?
And yeah, in a more complicated way, probably. Sure. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I see. And so what's gender, though, pointing at still? Sex.
Yeah, but that strengthens my argument because I just said
So when
if there's an
you
intersex of the
say-
body, why
when you
can't there be an
say
intersex of the mind?
What do you think intersex is?
It's when you're born between both sexes in some
No,
capacity.
there is no in between both sexes.
Well, yeah, you'll have characteristics of both male and female.
Wait a second. When you're talking about sex, you're pointing at which thing produces viable gametes.
Okay. So there's
So
some
if
people
you're
that are born
talking
with like a
about-
penis and a vagina, or a penis and
But only
ovaries,
one's
or
going to be viable for reproduction.
sure, but
Always.
I don't think that you have to. But your mind can't reproduce, right? So we're having a conversation about the physical body and then like your mind, right? Something a little bit
So
more
why
spiritual.
can't, well, if your mind can decide what sex it is, why can't it decide what animal it is?
Well, I think males and females are probably a little
I wonder if Andrew is into dog girls, like puppy girls or some shit.
closer than me and like a dog.
Well, I don't understand if the mind
No?
can just have the incongruence without the frame
Well,
of reference.
I don't know if you've heard
having
this
not
before.
ever been the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
For instance, my mind says, if your mind says I'm female, but you have no reference because you've never been female,
Yeah.
why can't mine say I'm monkey?
Maybe I had a dream I was a female. But what I would say is that like I don't know if you've heard this
Uh-huh.
before, but there's like a direct link between like the gender and the sex. The gender always points to the sex, right? And so like gender doesn't point to monkeys; it points to sex. So that's why it would be a direct.
Yeah, but
correlation.
you're making a conflation here because you said that your mind itself, your brain itself, can have an incongruency with with your body.
with your gender.
No, well, not just. Why,
Well,
why does it
your
to
brain can have an
gender?
incongruency with your body in many different ways. You
Yeah,
get
so
dysphoria
why
based
can't
on.
you just be a fucking leprechaun then?
Well, I don't know if it was real, but I would say that
I
like,
don't
people
think
have
that-
people have
I don't
incongruent.
think that man putting on a wig is a real
Well, I mean, women aren't real either, okay?
woman. What's your point?
That's fine if you don't think that. I think that's fine. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, why couldn't your mind believe that you're a leprechaun? And it's just as true as if your mind believes that you're not the sex.
Like I
you are.
said, I think that there's probably a closer link between male humans and female humans and the spirituality there versus me being a dog or a cat or I guess a leprechaun, which is a
Okay,
not
then how about a
character.
baby? Why can't the mind think you're a baby?
I think that the same thing that I said before. That's like a time thing.
There's not-
Time-
how-
what-
I mean, like, is that like does that have to be a hypothetical, I mean, isn't Andrew Wilson that? Or
As time moves on, I'm still a guy, right? So like if time's moving on, you could still be trans. I can't be a baby anymore.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But you're also not a female.
That is true. But nobody's trying to change
so the thing is,
but nobody's trying to change being male or female. They're trying
but
to
if
change
your
their
mind
gender.
can have the incongruency
Yeah.
that you're not a female, right?
Mhm.
Then why can't your mind have the incongruency that you're not a human?
I guess it could. But I would say that you're,
So what would
I
make
would say
that
males and females are much closer to each other. Than
Okay, so
somebody
hang on.
who-
As long as you say it could, what would make that not true then?
What specifically? Like not being a human?
Yeah, what would make that not true?
Well, we're all human, like by objective metrics, right?
What are those objective metrics?
Being human. But
does
again,
that mean?
well, so I know what the outcome you're looking for.
Do humans need to have 2 arms and 2 legs?
No.
Do they need to have a penis?
No.
Do they need to have a vagina?
No.
Okay, do they need to have X amount of DNA?
No. It sounds like what you're telling me is that humans don't have to be male or female. They can be non-binary.
Well, I don't even know why what makes them human.
That's a very interesting philosophical question. So yeah.
All right, well, have a nice day, man.
I appreciate the conversation. Thank you. Take care. Enjoy the next show that you have.
I will. Take care.
Take care. All right. Interesting stuff. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of a brief moment where I had no audio, so I'm going to have August to figure that out. But overall, let me tell you, that was an interesting conversation.
August?
That was interesting. That was interesting. I don't think that was terrible. Listen, here's the thing. At the end of the day, I'm going to have to process that information. That was an interesting conversation. Okay. Well, I can understand why there are people who don't want to have a conversation with that guy because he's a little bit dishonest, I will say. There was a moment, though. Where we were kind
A little bit dishonest.
of having like a regular chat. And then he kind of got back on whatever
An
debate
editor?
thing he wanted to
I
do.
don't think so, right?
Which is unfortunate because I feel bad. I feel a little bad. I wonder what like his regular day-to-day conversations are like. Because that's
Me too. Okay, I'm glad. I'm not the only one who thinks that then, I suppose.
I feel like I would be miserable if that's all I did with myself.
That's what I'm saying too. And I don't even mean in the condescending way. Like I mean in the genuine way. Like I think I'll be a really sad person if I can't have a conversation. I think I would be a very sad and depressed person if I can't have a conversation. Yeah.
Do I feel smarter or dumber? I think I feel like I got to peek into somebody's mind.
God. I would want to peek back out, okay?
Yeah, I think that was interesting. I appreciate the conversation. It was interesting. I will say, I think the most interesting thing about Andrew is that like he's very paranoid. Like when we were talking, he was like, make sure nobody else comes into the conversation with me. I was like, okay, I don't know why the fuck I would do that. But yeah, it's very interesting. You weren't really trying to have a conversation, you're trying to be an edgelord. If you think that that's the case, that's okay. So I have to let that process. I'm miserable because I'm 300 pounds overweight. Well, I'm like 150 pounds overweight. I'm gonna let that process. What kind of a person I talk to. Interesting. Here's what I want to end with. I'm gonna get the recording off, and then I want to respond to some of the messages that you guys are giving me, like the money messages or whatever. I think. Fuck, what was I going to say? I'm a little bit burnt out. There's a lot more intellectual back and forth than I'm used to. So here's what I think. I think at the end of the day, I like to think I did well enough where none of my audience is going to go to him and go like, oh, I love this guy. But I do think that there are some people that might have listened to that conversation and gone like, okay, even if I don't agree with Papa God, I think he was trying to be authentic because I was. And you know what? I think that's a beautiful thing. Either way, yeah, interesting stuff.
I feel like that was a waste of time. Fuck me, dude. Oh my God.